What is going on, Rotogrinders? Dean here. Dean 7894 if you want to get all technical. 417. Whoa, I was way off. 417 on the East Coast, 117 West Coast, 317 Tennessee time. So of course, that means time. Well, it's not the flagship show just yet. It's basketball. Next is the flagship show with baseball. It's Head Chopper and Kirk Dees. Of course, you guys have premium. Crunch Time is free tonight. We'll mention that several times. So Crunch Time is free, sponsored by Big Brain. We'll talk about them later on in the show. But I do want to introduce Andre. We drew the short straw, man. we're talking this. It's an 8-game slate. We're not going to mention everybody that's in, everybody that's out. Obviously, end of the season is on Sunday. Lots of teams are shutting it down. They've been shutting it down progressively more and more. But we have a lot of information, which we'll discuss. We'll break it down. But hey, welcome to the show, man. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely really good. It's going to be interesting to see and break down. It's going to be hard to play some of these players, knowing the situation, but there's pretty much like a couple of locks that I think, well, one lock at least on the slate you have to play. Everyone else is pretty much a good GPP play tonight at this point.
Yeah, but did you get burned, by the way, last night as far as Toronto, as far as the Raptors? And of course, they're back on this slate, and there was all sorts of goofiness there. And I think we might see some goofiness later. We shall see. Stay tuned.
I actually didn't. I did a little bit because I played under the field on Trent. I was under the field on him to begin with. If y'all catch the show yesterday, I talked about him and said I don't really like him because he's definitely a GPP play. And I took the route of being on the field on him and played more Terrence Davis, and it paid off for me a little bit. Had a top 5 finish on FanDuel last night, but it wasn't really much. But I think tonight, though, if Trent's playing, I don't know if I didn't get that news yet. He is. I think he's going to play tonight, but you never know. Still with Nick Nurse, honestly.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen. And by the way, what happened? You only top 5. You didn't bank. You didn't finish first. What happened? You didn't get on the podium at least.
Nah, I couldn't. I didn't have who was the key? Oh, I didn't have
Stanley Johnson?
Stanley Johnson. Yeah. I wasn't I didn't think about him because first of all, we didn't think he was gonna play with Trent, but with Trent and all them playing. So that's just an outlier performance at least. But we'll see. We'll figure out tonight what Nick Nurse does. But he'll find some way to sync our lineups, I feel.
We are projecting just 8 players tonight for Toronto being available. Siakam, FEV, Lowry, and Anunoby all out. Jalen Harris is considered doubtful with a foot. Yuta Watanabe got hurt last night. He's not expected to play. He's also doubtful. Hood and Watson. So Boucher was every designation yesterday, right? Wasn't he like questionable and in and then available to play and then a DNP CD? Same thing happened to Gary Trent, but I think Trent and Boucher both jumping in that starting lineup today. We'll see. I mean, Toronto obviously not incentivized to do much these days, but they're going to get some. They're going to lose anyway to Dallas, and Dallas is actually one of those teams that have some real incentive, and that's something we should talk about as far as this slate. Dallas is trying to hold on to the 5 spot. The Clippers are resting everybody, but they're playing Houston, so it's basically a bye. They can move up, they can move down, but I don't think it matters. Denver can move up theoretically, I believe, to the 3. Utah is trying to lock down the 1 seed. Challenge accepted. They're playing OKC. That should not be very difficult. There is a chance that Conley comes back tonight. I mean, Utah just in general, it's just hard not to see them absolutely walloping that OKC team that's trying their best to lose. Then they're not training very hard because they're not good anyway. Lou Dort's been out with who knows what. Philadelphia, they have 2 chances to take down that 1 seed. If not tonight versus Orlando, they'll do it on Sunday, but I imagine they're going to do it tonight. Dwight Howard got hit with a suspension. Did you see, by the way, who had a better year than Udonis Haslem? Like, dude played 3 minutes. He got like 2 buckets, and he got an ejection. It's a hell of a year. Year like 19 for him. Good for him.
Typical UD fashion. Gotta love it, especially for the Heat. So my Heat boys are locked into the playoffs. I hope I have wishful thinking. I hope they play the Knicks, so that way I can go to the Garden and see them play, and then fly down to Miami see them play.
That'll be awesome, actually. Yeah, that'll be good times for sure. And the Garden will be rocking. They haven't made it to the playoffs. Geez, I don't even know. When was the last time the Knicks were in the playoffs?
When Carmelo was on the team.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. Ooh.
We're both Heat fans. Are you old enough to remember the old New York-Miami rivalry? That was like the first team to score 80 wins back in the 90s?
Yeah. Yeah, I was a kid. I was a little kid then, but yeah, with Alonzo Mourning and them, I know my history with basketball. So yeah, definitely. Those were I like those days. I miss basketball being like that a little bit. Can't lie.
Jeff Van Gundy on the leg of whose leg was he on? Who was
Patrick? Was it Patrick Ewing?
was Ewing?
I think so.
Yeah, that was some fun series for sure back in the day. And like Haslam, like Miami loves him. He's from Miami, and he stayed with Miami to save some salary over the years. Obviously, now he's just getting paid to basically be like a good locker room guy. But he's getting paid off in the back end. But he's was a great player for them for years. We both love Haslam, of course. All right, as far as the slate tonight, one thing that is really, really interesting. You mentioned Westbrook. I don't care what they price him at. You don't care what they price him at. We're hitting the lock button on it. We're just going to play Westbrook. Washington still has an incentive to play. There's salary almost doesn't matter. It's the ultimate star scrub. It's hard to find the stars that are willing to get, 100% tonight. And there's some question marks we'll talk about, but how do you not play Westbrook in every single lineup? Tell me why I wouldn't.
I don't know how you would. I can't even make that argument unless you want to be different and lose money. And that's how you don't play Westbrook in every single lineup to me on this slate tonight. 12, he's 12-5, I think, and 12-6 or 12-8 on both sites respectively. Yeah. Just lock him in. It doesn't matter what he does tonight. And the thing about it is Washington has to win still, and it's just him by himself. There's no Bradley Beal. You don't have to worry about the users being taken away from anyone else. The only thing that could stop him, God forbid, is an injury, which I don't think will happen, obviously, because he takes great care for himself and body and his body. But he's just a lock for obviously at least 50 fantasy points, I would say, with an upside of 80, maybe even 90. Who knows? But I think you have to play him today. I don't think there's any way around it. Because even when you get to the other stars on here, there's still some question marks of how much they play in those games as well. So I want to take my chances with this, at least the top players that I know are going to be playing a lot of minutes. And playing for something that means something and mean a lot to them.
What do you think the optimal lineup of salary is tonight? We kind of talked about that, and that was sort of a conversation we had pre-show. It's like, even if he puts up, 57, and that's kind of sort of somewhat disappointing, it's the top the top players at each position are probably going to land in the optimal, you're going to be able to afford the best scoring outputs is basically the point I'm making on this slate. Does that kind of make sense? And even if he puts up 57, it's okay.
Yeah, if he puts up 57, I think it's still okay. Especially like depending on unless like a lot of the point guards up to below him that are for like less like really low price end up paying off and getting like 50, then you have a problem. And he got 57, then you have to worry. But there's some guys on the slate that have that potential, but there's not a lot. So I still would lock in Westbrook at this point because, like I said, his floor is 50, and I think his ceiling is definitely like 90. So to me, it's just no way around it. Even if you play Luka, who has the potential to have that upside too, I don't think he reaches that tonight. I think they should be able to handle Toronto easily, hopefully, but we'll see how the night shakes out.
And Luka does have an incentive. Dallas is incentivized. I believe they are on the back end. Is that correct? Wait, no, yes. They're not. Yeah. Wait, are they on the back end? Did I write that down wrong?
I thought they were. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I have it written down. So assuming I wrote it down correctly, Dallas is on an island game. The only teams on the back end are Denver, Orlando, Philly, Toronto. The Clippers, who are resting everybody. Sacramento, who's just completely beat up. And then Memphis, who's resting everybody. We'll talk about that game in a second. Memphis, Golden State. They are playing separate teams tonight. They both don't care about tonight because the only thing that matters to them is Sunday when they take on Golden State for the right to have the number 8 spot. So both teams gave their players imaginary injuries, which are completely hilarious. Just say we're resting them for Sunday. It's okay. I guess you know what it is, that Golden State New Orleans game is on ESPN. And ESPN is not happy, I'm sure. Who's the best player in this New Orleans Golden State? Who are they going to feature in the coming up next? This player, Jordan Poole. Get excited for Jordan Poole and
Jordan Poole is going to be featured for sure. I think he's going to be, unless ESPN can find a way to negotiate with the NBA between now and then to switch it to Washington, Cleveland, which I think is a better incentivizing game earlier. Maybe that game is on ESPN tonight. I could be wrong. I
thought it was weird. There's only one game. Like I went on ESPN.com because I was going to check Friday night, Saturday night, and They usually have a double header, and from what I can tell,
Yeah.
they only have one game.
They should have made
kind of weird.
Yeah, that is weird. They should have made the early game, the Cleveland Washington game, the ESPN game of the night.
So when there's national TV games, you get penalized if you rest players who are technically healthy. So I think that's one of the reasons why Golden State gave Curry like a butt or something. I can't remember what injury they gave him. Anderson got like a thumb for Memphis. They're all going to be fine on Sunday, rest assured. So the best part about Westbrook, or the best part about how the slate is kind of shaping up, I love this. Just one game at 7:00, 8 games, and then there's an hour break. Can I just lock in Westbrook and sort of figure it out for the next hour and wait as more news trickles in?
Yes, which is what I definitely encourage a lot of people to do. This slate to me is almost straightforward. It's just more about picking the right plays, having the right combination. Lock in Westbrook and see what you have on the back end. I talked about it on the morning grind this morning. I love game stacks tonight. So what I would do specifically is probably target certain games to play. I mean, to have multiple players from them and just run it back and see what happens, because this is the night where you're going to have a lot of goofy things happen, but also the competitive games. A lot of the competitive games are going to have concentrated people that are going to be playing and concentrated fantasy production from the players. So I would definitely look at guys like, if you after the 7:00 game, in the 8:00 game, I would target some guys from Denver. Not that high on Jokic, but but that's the thing. It's a good matchup where you can target some of the players from for sure. And then OKC and Utah, that game is kind of hard to really play anyone from there, but you can look at that. So I would definitely do that though, and see whatever your favorite game is, and then target a lot of the players from those games for sure.
You mentioned Jokic, and I have the salary for Jokic. The tricky part is how much are they going to push him? In theory, they want to win this game. They should win this game because they're facing Detroit, and we know how Detroit's trying to lose. This gentleman's agreement: let us win, we'll let you lose. Good to go. Jahlil Okafor expected to start there for Detroit. We're expecting Porter to come back tonight. He was not in the injury report. He rested last night. Aaron Gordon is out for rest. Campazzo's out for rest. Barton's still hurt. Dozier and Millsap. Millsap's also resting too. But saw nothing on Jokic. I do think there is. I don't know. Well, okay, you can make the argument for the MVP argument, cherry on top. You want to say he's going to play every single game this season, which nobody's done, basically, at least to my recollection. What superstar has not missed a game this year?
He hasn't missed a game?
I don't believe he's missed a game the entire season.
So he probably is going to play his full allotment of minutes, then, or I get to see that, unless they take care of him early.
Yeah, which also can happen. That's sort of my thought process. And we saw they started McGee the other night alongside him. Will they do that again? I don't know. Bull, is he going to get unleashed? What is Denver going to do? Malone, what did he say? Experimental lineups. He used some kind of phrase.
Yes.
I don't know what they're going to do.
I was talking this over. I think Bolo's in play. I just don't know how many minutes he's going to get. That's something that I want to gauge with our team that we have from projections to find out how much he's going to play and how many minutes they think he's going to get, because he's definitely going to get some run. I don't we have him at 10 minutes right now. I could see him possibly getting at least 20 to 22 minutes, because especially if they're running McGee out there with Jokic side by side, then Bolo's a backup center come off the bench. So in this game, like I said, they should take care of him easily, and they even might say, let's play Jokic in the first half and then rest Jokic in the second half of the game, which I can definitely see happening for sure.
Yeah, as far as how the studs go tonight, this is why Westbrook is such a good play, because he's not only the best play, but he's also the safest play. I think Luka's the second favors because, again, they're incentivized to I just think there's a better chance of Luka playing his full allotment as opposed to Jokic. Of course, Jokic can as well. And of course, you can play all three. That's something you can do, because there's a lot of cheapies that are pretty good math plays that can kind of make everything work. We'll talk about, the Clippers are without a bunch of dudes tonight. Memphis is without a bunch of dudes tonight. And do you agree with that as far as the studs? And Embiid is going to play. And again, that's another one of those situations where maybe he crushes tonight and the entire team rests on Sunday, which I expect, assuming they grab the W. There's no reason for them ever not to rest on Sunday against Orlando again. Embiid's interesting for tournaments. You're more the tournament guy. I think that's just feels like a tough button to click, but I get it. Like if ever, if he could play, he could smash against Orlando in 30 minutes. He was terrible last night.
Yeah, Embiid has incentive to play. So I would play definitely Embiid over Jokic for sure, because I think Philadelphia really wants the number 1 seed. They want that home court advantage throughout the whole playoffs. And Brooklyn's rounding their tail. So they have to get the victory tonight just so they can try to secure it. I believe if they they wouldn't even, would they secure it? I don't think so.
They got to win one of the next 2 against Orlando, I believe. That's going to happen.
But doesn't Brooklyn have to lose, because Brooklyn still has 2 games left?
I don't know. My understanding is they have 2 shots to just get that 1 seed. Maybe they have the tiebreaker or something like that. I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, if they have the tiebreaker, then that's different. Yeah, but if they don't, then even in general, Brooklyn still has to win. Yeah, so the Philadelphia, pretty much like you said, they have to win. They have to go all out in a way. So I definitely would target Embiid for sure. He's the best play probably definitely the best play on that in that game and on that side of the ball. You could dabble into a little bit of Tobias Harris too, which I don't mind. But other than that, those are like the only 2 players. I don't know about, you could even have Ben Simmons in your pool as a GPP flyer, but I think that might be getting a little bit too cute today with all the value we have. And like I said, just lock in Russell Westbrook. So
yeah, I'm probably not playing Simmons. I'm not saying he's a terrible player or anything, but I think you go up to Westbrook, you go down some of the cheapies we're going to talk about in a second. And, it's an 8-gamer, but there's only so many studs. We got to talk about that. Curry's not playing. The Clippers aren't playing. Kawhi and Paul George. So I'm pulling up the lineup HQ tool right now, right? And as far as our projected points, have you seen what we projected for Westbrook today? What would you guess on DK? DK points, triple double bonus. What would you guess as fantasy points are as like an average?
I would say, because I have FanDuel in front of me, so I would say if I had to guess, I would say if FanDuel's at 69, I would probably say like 75, 76.
Yeah, 72 and a hook. The point is that, okay, so he's 72, Luka's 55, Jokic 53, and you guys can get these, by the way. You can get premium, $10 off your first month. You can get them just basketball. Why not get all of them? Get every single sport with the exception of NASCAR. All the football around the corner, obviously, baseball's going on, UFC, golf, all the good stuff. $10 off as well. Devin, our fabulous multitasking producer, going to go ahead and drop that link in chat for y'all. So the point I'm making here, Andre, is that, okay, Westbrook 72 points, then Luka 55, then Joker 53, then Embiid at 51, right? The next highest projection, you want to go star scrubs because we have all these scrubs. We'll talk about the scrubs in a second. The next highest projection is Buddy Hield at 41 points. Like, are we excited? I mean, he's fine. Are we excited about Buddy Hield at 8K?
I would still play him. He's going to be a little bit different. Especially more. I'll play him more on FanDuel because I'm going to play. I'm playing on both sides tonight actually, but on DraftKings it's going to be hard because obviously that value counts for so much more. So it's going to be harder to play him over there. He would be someone I would consider because I know he has that 40-point upside. Because just in case, you never know, one of these stars, like what if Luka, for instance, doesn't get 50, gets like 45, and Buddy Hield has 40. You don't need Luka then at that point. You pay less and get Buddy Hield. So if you're running a lot of lineups tonight, I would take those chances and have those type of variables and different type of plays in the mid range, because that's going to be the lowest owned range tonight, especially on DK. No one's going to be playing them. Everyone's going to be playing, like you said, stars and scrubs. So getting at least a couple scrubs, but one of these mid range guys and then another star, I think it's a good option, a good route to go.
As far as some of the scrubs, and by the way, let's say hello to chat. I've neglected chat. I apologize. Do subscribe, hit the turn on notification bell. I appreciate that. You guys can, if you don't hear a player you want us to talk about, we're happy to do so. Fire off some questions. Andre is one of the best tournament players. You see his screenshots on Twitter all the time. Plenty of 6-figure hits. In baseball, you had $1 million hit. I know you're talking baseball with us. I think in a week or two, right? You'll be joining the baseball shows? Yeah,
I've been dabbling baseball more and more as the NBA season winds down, but I'll be fully switched over after the final next weekend.
Yeah, good time. So yeah, fire up some questions. We're happy to answer them. Andre will just a brilliant GPP mind, and I will yield all the tournament questions to you for sure. Let's talk about the cheapies as far as tonight, the things that kind of make stuff work. And I guess Memphis is a good place to start. We can run off the dudes that are out or just the dudes that are in either way. But of course, we already discussed the situation. They only care about Sunday. Morant is out with I can't remember what injury they gave him, a back, I think. Valanciunas is out. Of course, Triple J is not going to play in the back-to-back. Brooks is out. Clark is out. Kyle Anderson is out. Grayson Allen is out, which means Tyson Jones, is that what we're looking at? Is it one of the guys going to pop in here in our model? Tim Frazier potentially, Tilly potentially. I think DeAnthony Melton, if they finally give him some run, he's shown the ability to do some things. And then Tillman should play 30 minutes or so. Is that one of the first teams we're looking at as far as a salary? Sacramento, Memphis, that game, I guess we'll talk about the Sacramento side too. And you're talking game stacks. Maybe that's one of the game stacks you like.
I love this game more when it was going to be competitive. It can still be competitive for sure, but I don't know how much. And then you got to worry about Luke Wall, how much minutes he's going to play his guys. But I think I have to figure out how many guys they're down to too, because if so, you can still run these game stacks out there with these teams. On Memphis side, I like Tillman. Tillman's probably the best play on Memphis for sure. He's going to get a full amount of minutes. He's someone I would definitely, he's someone I would definitely be targeting for sure a lot. I think after that one, it's kind of hard with the guards because you got Tim Frazier, you got Tyus Jones, and you got DeAnthony Melton. And I think DeAnthony Melton should be the second best play on this team. But you never know because these other guys they never play him, but now they should run him out there and run him to the ground. But then you still have Tyus Jones and Tim Frazier. So it's now worry about what are they going to do? How much are they going to actually play him, or do they even want to play him? And the other guys have been proven to be good fantasy point per minute players, as Tyus Jones is at a 0.95 fantasy point per minute on FanDuel, and Tim Frazier's at a 0.7% fantasy point per minute, which is decent. But and DeAnthony Melton, irrespective of himself, is at a 1.02 fantasy point per minute. So it's gonna be hard, but I would definitely mix those players in. I wouldn't probably get any further outside of them. Maybe Desmond Bain. That's about it. You could target still some of these other guys because they're going to still be low owned because people are going to flock to so much of the value in other games too. It's just that I want to target the players who I think have an upside for at least 35 to 40 fantasy points a minimum tonight, because you're going to need that type of score and a 400s to win tonight.
Yeah, this is another one of those where, like, again, how the slate sets up as far as the schedule. We talked about Washington, Cleveland. You can just lock in Westbrook and just wait and figure stuff out. Then you have the Orlando, Philadelphia games at 8, Denver, Detroit at 8, assuming there's no shenanigans at the last minute. Utah, OKC at 8:00. By the way, Conley is available tonight for what it's worth, which just for me makes Utah individually, although they're playing, everybody's just, however unappealing they were before, they're even less appealing. The Utah side, would you agree with that? Like, just why are we playing anybody in Utah tonight?
I agree. That game is probably my least favorite game on the slate, just because all Conley's back, and that makes it hard. I'll probably have some players like some OKC players, maybe one or two, but that's really about it. Other than that, I can't play no one on Utah.
And then after that game, we have another break with the Clippers, the Rockets, Sacramento, Memphis, and Toronto, Dallas, and they're all playing at 9:00 on the East Coast. And that Toronto game, what we're seeing is just 8 players on Toronto, and I think it makes sense that Boucher is just. They didn't want to play Boucher both last night and tonight. Same deal with Torrent. I assume that that's the logical way to look at that. And then they're going to both jump in the starting rotation. And I wouldn't assume the same output from Stanley Johnson, because the usage that guys like Trent take, the usage that guys like Boucher take, of course, are greater than whoever they had in last night. They're just they yielded to Johnson more, and I don't think it'll happen so much tonight. But just sort of like speaking to what the starting lineups are going to look like the Memphis side, there's a chance that Melton starts. That's possible. That can make him really interesting. If Tilly starts, he can be interesting for Memphis as well. And we're looking at 9 bodies, and that's including Jonte Porter. I don't know how much run he's going to get. The Sacramento side, Fox, Barnes, Halliburton. Holmes not officially ruled out, but he got hurt last night. Why would you push him tonight? I assume he's out as well. We know Bagley is again officially doubtful last I saw. Other cheapies, or talk about that Toronto side. Are you with me that Boucher and Trent and even Flynn all look like really strong plays to me?
Yes, I love those plays. It's just hard to like thinking about rostering them just because of the situation that happened last night. It makes everyone nervous, but this is why. But also, this is what I play for. I play for the volatility, and that's what got me pretty much going all in tonight a little bit. I wanted to play the slate because I wasn't going to a lot at first, but I would say Chris Boucher is the top play, obviously from Toronto. I would just roster probably and all you need honestly is probably a little bit of exposure to these guys. I would say if you're multi-entering, play 5% of Chris Boucher, play 5% of Gary Trent. That's about it. You don't have to really go all out unless you have a beat writer that you know on a team that tells you that they're going to play the full allotment of minutes and knows what Nick Nurse is doing. Other than that, I would just have a little bit of exposure to those guys. The most exposure you can feel comfortable with is probably Malachi Flynn, obviously in the show with his projected ownership being what it is. I think you can also have confidence in Khem Birch a little bit too, because I think he's going to have to play regardless. So those are like the only two like for sure plays I know you can definitely feel confident in. And Stanley Johnson too as well, because he's been playing minutes. But other than that, everyone else is going to be a question mark as to how much they're going to play and how everything else is going to go with that.
As much as I want Boucher to sneak up on people tonight, if you're going to trust our lineup HQ tool, we're projecting Boucher for 32 minutes. So we're projecting him to start. We have him. I'm looking at FanDuel right now, and it's basically the same thing at DK. His smash percentage is currently 39%. His points per dollar just above 6. We got 32 minutes and 38 fantasy points on FanDuel, where he can also thrive in that scoring system where he can rack up stocks as well. So I don't know if he's sneaking up on anybody tonight, but there's probably some people that are going to be cautious because of the, DMP CD is just kind of scary. I guess that's technically what it was. But again, you got to add the context to it. And I think when you add the context, I imagine, and again, you want to see him starting. If he's not starting, you have pivots. We talked about it. There's a bunch of games starting at the same time. You kind of figure it out from there. But again, they're only down to 8 guys, assuming Watanabe and assuming Harris don't play. Or just unavailable. At least that's by my math. That's kind of where I'm at on that. And then how about the Clippers? I have a really off the board one. The thing is, I don't know how goofy you need to be because to try to guess, well, this guy's going to get 25 minutes when we're going to have a bunch of guys that we know are just as cheap. They're going to get at least 25 minutes, right? So, but do you know who the goofy guy on the Clippers? I think it could be kind of sort of somewhat interesting if things crack his way. Who's that guy?
Well, this is a position.
Center.
If you're on the same page, then I thought about this last night. Demarcus Cousins.
Yeah, I think he could be really. I don't know how much I need him.
I agree. I agree. To me, I'm taking a little. I'm gonna have a little bit of him because I think he could. Because he's not playing that much with them. I think he's just there just because Ibaka wasn't there, but he's still gonna probably be there just in case in the playoffs. So I think this is the time to get some run. And show that he can still play because he's going to look out for that next contract he needs for next year. So I definitely like playing Demarcus Cousins and taking a stab at him in some GPP lineups for sure. I'm going to have probably, like I said, 5% of exposure to him probably tonight and just see what happens. And if those lineups sink me, I'm fine with that. If not, then okay, I might have something there because he's better than what his price shows. We know that for sure. And it's just sad what happened to him with his injuries, but he definitely has the upside, and it's definitely a weird play that no one's going to be on.
Yeah, Paul George, of course, is out. Kawhi is out. Beverly's out. Mann is out. Reggie Jackson's doubtful. Coffee is still doubtful with the health protocols. The interesting is, Ibaka, you mentioned, he might come back, which, I mean, I don't even know how injured he's been, to be honest, because he was questionable for a month. And they're like, well, why? He's older. We want this guy for the playoffs. We don't really need him for now. Who knows what the story is with him, but maybe they bring him back on Sunday. Maybe he's fine tonight. I'm not really sure. Theoretically, if you want Cousins, you'd rather not see Ibaka, I suppose, but Cousins could get it done in 24 minutes here. A really strong fantasy appointment player when he gets the opportunity. Nice matchup against his former team as well. But the more reliable cheapy stuff as far as the Clippers, do we like Luke Kennard? Is he somebody that we're willing to play? Nicholas Batum, these guys do anything for you?
Nick Batum, no, he's out. Yeah, I'm not playing him because I don't trust the amount of minutes. He doesn't play a lot of minutes to begin with. He play mid-20s, so he's someone I can't play. I love Marcus Morris in the spot, depending on how, but we got to pay attention to news because he get rolled out the last minute like he has been before. Because I know he's also a key and pivotal part of that Clippers rotation. So he might not play a lot of minutes too as well. But like you said, Luke Kennard, Yogi Ferrell, those are the guys I'm looking at mainly from the Clippers side for sure. Serge Ibaka, I think he does come back, but I'm thinking he's gonna play around 20 minutes, not that much. I don't think, and that's the thing, I don't even know how much Zubac's gonna play. Like these are starters that play for them that I know they don't want to really get hurt unless they don't care, because letting them run wild, because there's an opportunity to get that playing time and get their confidence right and up for the playoffs. So I would just pick into a starting lineup for sure, but definitely Yogi Ferrell and Luke Kennard for sure, my two top plays from the team. And then I would follow by Marcus Morris and GPPs. And a deep flyer on Demarcus Cousins.
Are we expecting Yogi and Rondo to split those 48 minutes? Is that a fair assumption?
I don't think Rondo's playing a lot, to tell you the truth. Like, I don't, he's been playing, 17 minutes? Maybe he will split that, but I think they might just play him probably like 15 minutes. Maybe this have it being the first half, because I think he's going to play more in the playoffs for them. He's their best option to me at point guard to win, especially when it turns into the playoff mode, because we know what playoff Rondo does. So I'm gonna hedge. Well, I'm gonna be a betting man on that and say that Rondo doesn't play more than like 17 minutes, and Yogi Ferrell's gonna get majority of the run and probably the start, I would imagine.
Yeah, if that's the split, then Yogi probably plays 31. Like that's probably how that would work. And if you're telling me I'm getting 31 Yogi minutes, I'm interested for sure. He's still minimum on FanDuel. I imagine he's basically the same there on DK. I didn't look at him for whatever reason, because I was like Pool is like not that much more on DK. Pool was 4.1K. He feels like a really strong play. How do you feel about is he the best value play on Golden State, assuming everybody's out? And I think they're at best doubtful, but everybody's going to be out for Golden State, right?
Yes, I like Jordan Poole a lot. He's probably the only guard play I could play from them for sure. I don't like no other guards on their team.
Mannion,
no, I can't play Mannion at all. But Jordan Poole for sure. To me, he's like the best, probably the best value play even on the slate. Just because of his upside and especially in the matchup with New Orleans. To me, he's someone else that you might have to just take a chance on lock in, because the minutes and usage, who's going to be out there to score. I like taking shots with Juan Toscano Anderson too on that same game. We know he can shoot a lot of threes, and the rebounding upside for him is going to be high, especially with I think Steven Adams, who he's still questionable, but I'm assuming he's not going to play tonight again.
So is Ingram. Like Ingram's not playing, right? Well, there's no reason to bring those guys back.
There's no reason, in my opinion. I think they should just sit them and let them and get on their way to vacation now, and get ready for next year or free agency.
Yeah, I don't. I suppose it's possible and nothing official, and it's a later game, but it doesn't make any sense for Adams or Ingram to play. Does that open? Talk about game stacks. Does that open up a guy like Marshall? Oh, you mentioned Marshall. I think you just did.
I love Najee Marshall.
Okay.
I love him on that side of the ball too. Yeah, he's someone that I think is going to be a great play tonight. I'm kind of disappointed in Nickeil Alexander-Walker's performance last night. It was good to see that he got the minutes, but I would go right back to the well, because we know he just didn't shoot well, so he's going to still play and he's going to still be good. So he's someone I would definitely be the second best option on New Orleans for sure. I think that's it, because you're also going to want guys that are going to play the minutes too, like Eric. I think we like our projections. We have a little bit like Eric Russell playing 32 minutes. I don't know if he's going to get that much run tomorrow.
I don't agree. I don't agree with those minutes. I agree with you. I think Lewis should get a few more minutes.
I think, because he played 21 minutes last game. I think he should get. I would probably have Lewis at around 20. I'll probably have Lewis where Eric Bledsoe is, and we'll have it vice versa. That's what I would have it at personally. And I probably might do that, because I think that's the way it's going to go. It's good to get those young players in. Like you said, I don't think Ingram's going to play either. So, or neither is Steven Adams. There's no reason to not play your young guys and get them as much exposure as possible.
Yeah, and again, that's another one of those where a starting lineup can help, and it's possible Bledsoe just doesn't play. Like, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. He's certainly going to play 32 minutes and surprise us, but I think that's on the high end. Veteran, I don't know. I feel like he's a free agent for that team as well too. I'm not certain on it, but it doesn't seem like why are you going to give him a ton of run? Like, what's the point? Let's see what you have in Lewis, one of your rookies here, obviously.
And
All right,
same thing also with James Johnson. I don't think he's going to play a lot of minutes either.
Yeah, I don't really get it. Like, I suppose, Van Gundy's kind of an old school guy, I guess, but you'd think he'd want to see what he has in his rookies, assuming he's back next year. I don't know, is he gone? Who knows? But I'm not really sure what's going to happen. This is only his first year, I think.
It is. It's his first year. He'll be back next year.
All right. Do want to mention? Chat. Fire off some questions if you haven't already. Devin's gonna be joining the show in a sec. I got about 15 minutes or so, and then we'll be handing it off for baseball. Y'all get Chop. You guys get Kirk D's, and then later on, Crunch Time is free. If you didn't catch this message earlier, you got free Crunch Time for baseball. It's STL cards. For basketball, probably more important as far as late breaking news. Andy Means gonna be all over it, taking you guys all up to lock, beyond lock, after lock. They're gonna be playing Big Brain. Big Brain, if you guys are not aware, it's a hybrid of HQ Trivia and DFS. You can win American dollars with that. It's a lot of fun. They played last week. It was good times. Tonight's topic, you guys in the chat should be all over this. The topic is sports terminology. You guys know sports terms. Yeah. And if you go ahead and sign up, there's a matching deposit bonus up to $50. No deposit code necessary. That's Big Brain going down, I think around 7:30 or, give or take. Again, just stick around, watch Crunch Time. After that, they'll play some Big Brain. You guys can join them. Not just that, the two winners tonight, top two winners, get a month free of Rotogrinders Premium. Devin, did I get all that? I think I hit everything as far as Big Brain, right?
I think you nailed it.
There you go.
Let me ask you, Dean, are you comfortable right now?
Do I not feel comfortable?
No, are you comfortable? You I noticed by the end of the show here, you've almost fallen out of your camera frame.
Have I really? I haven't been paying attention. What's going on?
I have no more room to move you up. Yep. There we go. Perfect. Look at that.
Yeah.
I know that happened to you one time, right?
Sometimes I get too comfortable. We're just having a casual conversation as far as this slate. And
it's casual Friday, let it hang out.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's wearing pants? Not me.
I am.
I definitely am.
You came in from work 5 minutes before we had the show start.
Yep.
I'm wearing shorts, to be clear, just so there's no misconstruing.
There's
Go ahead, Devin.
a he who smelt it joke somewhere in here, but yeah, we got plenty of questions loaded up. Do you guys want to go back and forth?
Andre can handle the tournament stuff. If anybody dares ask Cash, I guess I'll answer it. But go to ask Andre.
If anybody dares ask it. All right, well, that's good because this one's for Andre anyway. Billups wants to know for FanDuel, what is the closest lock for Andre, and what about any X button plays for tonight? They took the time to mention that they know you don't really do lock buttons, but what would be the closest?
Tonight because I'm gonna have probably about 80% Russell Westbrook, so he's the closest lock to him.
You could say lock at 80%. That's I think there's negligible margin there. What about any fades?
Fades that are on the high end is probably going to be. I'm really leaning towards a fading Jokic right now, just because I like a lot of other centers more. So and the time.
All right, well, that ties into Sean's question coming up for tournaments. Russell Westbrook and Jokic. Do you think they're both possible to get 70 burgers tonight?
Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure. I just don't know how much Jokic is going to really be. Well, he's going to be into playing the game, but how long he's going to be out there for. That's my concern. But I would probably say yes. Well, I'll definitely say yes for sure.
Hey, I got a question for Andre, if you don't mind. I'll talk about locking in Westbrook at the 7 o'clock, just wait an hour. Do I have to play anybody in Cleveland? Because Allen's fine, but I don't think I need him.
He's a good GPP play.
Okay, yes. That's like, how many lineups would you make until you finally? I know you're probably making more than like 5 or 10. I'm making like 5 or 10. Do you feel like you need like at least one, like 10% Allen? Can you put a percentage on it?
See, because I know his upside in this matchup, because he can have a 60 burger in this matchup. I would say, like, didn't he have like 60 before against him when he played him earlier in the year, I believe?
It's possible. He's been bad lately for what it's worth, but yeah.
Yeah, so, like, especially if everyone else continues to be out, because Kevin Love is out. Is Cedi Osman got ruled out yet? I don't think so. But if he is, then he can – Allen's a good GPP player. I probably have like 5%, maybe a little bit less, maybe like 3, just to have a little bit of exposure. So, like, out of 100 lines, probably like 3 of them will be Allen.
What's the dog's name, Andre?
There's a dog?
Yeah, barking in the background. She's acting like someone's killing her.
Just trying.
Her name's Kenzie.
Kenzie. All right, the Kenzie play of the day. Jared Allen.
Yes.
Andrew wants to know any interesting game props or bets for tonight?
I haven't got a chance to look into any game props or bets, but I probably would say I think there will be an over if I had to put my bet tonight on the Sacramento-Memphis game.
I would say you missed it, by the way. I saw earlier today, and this is a great day to take advantage of it. But like the line for Memphis Sacramento was just flat out wrong, and somehow Vegas didn't anticipate Memphis resting everybody because again, the only game that matters to them is Sunday, and that line moved tremendously once everybody was rolled out. And you could have middled it, or you could have sold off your ticket. But yeah, my answer is you should have asked like 4 hours ago. Sorry.
My answer is too bad. Well, I'll piggyback Beer on his 6-pack, which we'll show here in a minute. He picked the Philadelphia to win outright. I think it was minus 13.5 this morning, but it's probably like 14.5 now.
Yeah. Well, outright means no spread.
Oh,
So,
right.
like,
Sorry.
You got to lay like 1,000. It's a bold pick, Beer.
Levi wants to give a shout out. Says thanks for always coming through with chat and answering questions. Helped me take down 2 GPPs yesterday.
Oh, sweet.
Congratulations,
Nice.
Levi.
Congrats.
Billups wants to know, do we think any of these teams are going to pull a Toronto and give any players a goose egg?
Ooh, who would be most likely to do that? I mean,
Detroit. Detroit's the team I think that's most likely to do that. Maybe Denver too, but I would say Detroit more so than anyone. I just think that Dwayne Casey could pull like who's on Detroit that.
well, Diallo's still questionable.
Yeah, I mean, start them and not play them. Well, actually, everyone's pretty much ruled out, so maybe not Detroit. Detroit's just so horrible.
Do you like Okafor for like the still minimum?
I like him definitely, for sure. It's just kind of hard. Just there's so many good plays tonight. I just don't know which one's going to be the right one. So that's what where it's boiled down to with me. I'm trying to decide who do I want in my player pool or who do I not want. And Okafor is definitely in there, and I like him a lot. Just don't know where I would rank him yet. I'm trying to get that together right now.
I think I got Tillman in front of him. If I have the money for Tillman, I prefer Tillman
definitely.
over Okafor.
I agree with that 100%. And I would probably have Metu over Okafor too, and then on the opposite end of that game. And
You beat me to it. That was my follow-up question. Good. I'm glad you answered it.
And Okafor, he's the stone minimum, so we know his upside is, but then he cannot also get there and also play a lot of minutes because so I also kind of like from the Golden State game, I like Jackson Hayes and Willie Hernangomez. Our minutes of projection on them is definitely off, but I think they're also hedging. They think Steven Adams is going to play. Those two plays definitely in this matchup with the pretty much the San Jose. What is it? What is their G League team? The San Jose.
I don't know.
I forgot the name of it, but yeah, that's who they're running out there tonight. So. I definitely like Jackson Hayes to go off.
Tell me this though, before we bring Devin back in, is that more of a DK thing? Because it feels there's always an opportunity cost to center on FanDuel where you can only grab one, and on a day where salary isn't that meaningful because every position you can find some cheapies. Are you okay playing just flat out punting at center and getting that 27 points, which could be okay if everything else works out, obviously.
Yeah, it could be okay if everything else works out. I think you're going to need probably like 3 cheapies that give you about 35 fantasy points. And then you're going to need probably 1 mid-range guy that's going to give you like 40 to 50. That's unexpected. And then probably Russell Westbrook. And then whoever else is in there.
All right, let's get on with Kemper. Wants to know, person after my own heart here, looking for a tiers question. Kelly O or DeLon Wright?
Oh, I don't play tiers. Do you play tiers, Andre? You probably don't.
No, I don't. But if I did have to answer that, I like both those players a lot. Those are both, honestly, 2 of my top tournament plays. I probably would say DeLon Wright right now, then Kelly O.
Big fan of
Kelly
tiers.
He's shaking his minutes.
Sometimes.
Do you like anything on Houston?
Yes, I do. I'm falling a little bit guilty because I definitely like Kelly O for sure. Just want to know the minutes. Keira Thomas is someone I'm getting to like a lot more, and I kind of like the Armani Brooks now a little bit. But I think he's definitely a GPP play because if his shot's not falling, he's not going to produce. That's the way he plays from just me watching the games of him playing. So he's someone I would definitely have like in tournaments, probably a little bit, get a little bit of exposure. Kenyon Martin's also a great play, obviously, as well. Especially, like I said, this matchup, they're running their second unit out there. They should destroy it and be able to all have good fantasy games.
I caught you off, Tevin. We're probably on lightning round, aren't we?
Probably,
All right.
but we got only a few more left. So Kenyon, also KJ Martin. That's something I had to realize. Let's see. Actually, while we're on it, Kemper wants to know Tobias Harris, KJ Martin, Cole Anthony, Conley, or Bay. Who would you pick out of that?
I heard Conley. You're not playing Conley, right?
Not playing Conley. You're not playing Tobias. Probably
So KJ Martin, Cole Anthony, or Bay.
Kenyon.
All right.
His dad is Kenyon Martin, by the way. That's probably what's.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
that's.
I see it
he's a
listed.
junior.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I see it listed as both everywhere, though. It's super confusing. Young Bandit, thoughts on Colin Sexton?
I like him. I like him still in tournaments, especially in that game. Like, you want someone that could definitely – that's someone you run it back with, Dean, if you're playing someone else like Russell Westbrook. It's Colin Sexton. I don't care if Garland's back or not. Even if Garland's back, you can have a mini game second run Russell Westbrook and Garland and Sexton because they're going to take a lot of usage on that team, and they both can – Garland can go for 50 fantasy points tonight if he plays, and Sexton could easily go for like 60 in this matchup as well because especially more so probably with a FanDuel play because of the steals and block upside.
Also, he's a shooting guard on FanDuel. He's not a point guard. You don't have to compete with the likes of Tyus Jones or Jordan Poole or Flynn or Luka Doncic.
Yes, and shooting guard is definitely weak today.
All right, K-Mac, FanDuel tournaments. Rank the top 5 players in the Golden State-New Orleans game.
Top 5 players. I would say number 1 is probably Jordan Poole. Number 2, Najee Marshall. Number 3, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Number 4, Jackson Hayes. And number 5 is going to be Kier Lewis.
I'll just throw this out on FanDuel. Small forward is terrible. You mentioned Marshall in that game. But like, there's a couple like Bazemore. It's weird that Bazemore is playing. I guess Bazemore is going to be playing his normal minutes, but isn't Mulder? Mulder is a small forward that's still a minimum of 3.5, and I think he's interesting. He could draw the start and play, 28 to 32 minutes. I don't mind him as a punt.
I don't mind him either, but I don't think he definitely can have the upside for a 30-point fantasy point game, but I don't know if that's enough tonight. I don't think 35 fantasy points is 30 fantasy points is enough from him. Even at 3K, even at 3.5.
Even at small forward on FanDuel, small forward's terrible.
I know, but like it's gonna be weird. I just don't think that's enough. I don't know. It's weird, and he's definitely. There's other guys ahead of him on that team also. They're gonna have more usage than he is for sure.
Raw points. I was gonna say, I'm sorry. Raw points' biggest projection on FanDuel today is Porter at 34, then Bay at 31, then Bogdanovich and Bazemore and Hachimura. It's rough, but yeah, you're right. So somebody's gonna pop. Absolutely. It's just figuring out who it's gonna be.
Yes.
Wig wants to know best game stack for FanDuel. Is it the Cleveland-Washington game?
I like that. I don't know if that's the best game stack. I would say probably like I really was on the Sacramento-Memphis game early as my best game stack. I still kind of lean towards that just because of the pieces, and I know it's all concentrated. So I would still stick with that for right now. Then probably Cleveland-Washington next.
Dean, did you get yourself a Top Shot pack today?
Oh, I didn't get that.
It's on reserve. I think I can buy it whenever I want, right?
Yeah, you can go back.
Okay, I didn't pounce. I'm working. I'm doing things.
I got not one, but 2 Marcus Smart regular moments.
What? Look at you.
Oh, man, I'm feeling lucky on this Friday. All right, let's see. Unicorn, let's end with this one, Dean. This is a question right up your alley. What teams are still playing for anything? I know you have that list handy.
Oh, yeah, of course. I wrote all this stuff down. Clippers kind of sort of whatever. Denver can move up the 3 in theory. Utah can lock up the 1. Doesn't matter instead of or not. They're going to wall up OKC. Philadelphia's got 2 shots to beat Orlando to get that 1 spot. Washington incentivized to potentially move the 9 or to 8. Dallas is trying to hold up the 5 spot. New Orleans, Sacramento, OKC, Orlando, Detroit, and Cleveland all desperately want to lose. Golden State and Memphis have 0 interest in winning the basketball game tonight. They care about Sunday and Sunday only. I think I got them all.
Something about desperately wanting to lose. It reminds me of cornhole when I don't want to put the bag on the board and I just toss it at my feet. Like what's the NBA equivalent of that?
Why do you hate corn? Why?
Oh no, not saying I hate. I'm saying if I'm gonna win and I don't want any more points, I'll just toss that bag down on the floor, right? So, would they come in and just drop their sneakers on the court and walk away?
I don't know the rules of cornhole. Is that you can walk off? Is that a walk off?
Dean, we do not have time for this.
Do you know the rules of cornhole, Andre? I've played before,
No,
but
I have not played cornhole but once, and I just tried my best to get the bag in the hole.
Funny story, my neighbor actually makes like artisan handmade boards. I went out there with some, rinky-dink gift set that my family gave us, and he's like, "Oh, okay, hang on," and he hands us these like really thick like mahogany boards. Like, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Artisan boards like out of cheese or out of bread?
No, like handmade, like expertise, right?
Something you find on Etsy. Yeah, I didn't realize you were on the circuit. So when there was no sports going on, ESPN was showing like in prime time, like what is it, bags? What do they call it? You gave a fancy term for it. What's the name of this game again?
Cornhole.
Yeah.
Bags.
I heard it's called
just
bags.
Bags and boards.
It's a Southern game, I feel like. Is it not?
Probably.
It's strong in the South.
We don't have time for this, Dean. You got to take us home.
Oh, yeah, we got to go. Stick around for Crunch Time. Crunch Time is free. Between us, you all get Kirk Dees and Chopper talking baseball. Crunch Time is free. Big Brain, play that afterwards. If you guys play along, the top 2 scorers get 1 month free of RG Premium. Tonight's topic, y'all should know this. You know what? Sports terminology. Maybe bags will be in there. What's another name for cornhole? Bags. There's question number 4 for y'all. For Andre, for Devin, this was basketball. My last basketball show of the year, so it's fun. Thanks for participating. Thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe. I was going to say on your way out, but you're going nowhere because you're playing some baseball tonight as well. That is the show. We're out of here. Holler.
You're back at the Fantasy Bar. The regular season is wrapping up, and we got 6 plays for you for Friday, and we're going to go happy hour. Nobody over 7,500 on either FanDuel or DraftKings. Some of my favorite value plays. Guys I think are underpriced. Guys taking advantage of opportunities. My favorite bet of the night as well. And, of course, my top play of the night. Who is it? Belly up to the Fantasy Bar and find out. Welcome in, guys. Friday edition Beers Daily Fantasy 6-pack. We continue to slog through the regular season in the NBA, but I've narrowed it down to 5 of my favorite DFS plays and my favorite bet of the night. Thank you, as always, for stopping by and checking out the video. Now, before we get into things, as always, first thing, click that thumbs up button. Helps us out tremendously with YouTube. So make sure you take a second and do that. Next, subscribe to the channel. Get notified when these videos are released. And lastly, head over to scoresandodds.com/beer. The link is in the description. Click it. Get signed up. All the sports betting information you're going to need right there at your fingertips. Go and take advantage today. All right, let's talk some NBA hoops. We know the regular season almost done here. Tons of injuries, tons of guys sitting out, but we've narrowed it down. Try to make things easy for you again. Happy hour, just like your favorite bar. We're keeping prices low here. Nobody over 7,500 today on either site, including the Beast of the Night. So let's dive into it here. Let's start with Houston. We're going to roll Armani Brooks. So we know Houston going to be shorthanded, just the way it's been over the last few weeks. Not going to rattle off all the injuries here, but Christian Wood, Kevin Porter Jr., obviously the 2 big guns that do the majority of the scoring, going to be out again tonight. That's good news here for Armani Brooks. So not only is he going to get a chance to score, but he's going to get a chance to play a ton of minutes here, 31 or more minutes now in 5 of the last 7 games. And we talked about the scoring, 18 shot attempts in that last game. So this guy jacking threes left and right. That's what we want. The prices just have not had a chance to catch up yet. We're getting them sub 5K on DraftKings and even FanDuel at 5,500. Don't hate that price. So Houston going to be a place we want to look for value here. Brooks really stood out to me as the guy we want in our lineups here tonight. on Friday night. All right, let's go to Sacramento next. Another team going to be shorthanded. We're going to roll with shooting guard, small forward, Terrence Davis. Now, plenty of options here for the Kings. We saw James have a huge game. He's minimum price on DraftKings if you really need some savings. But I like the consistency that Terrence Davis will give us. So we know no De'Aaron Fox, Halliburton, Bagley, Barnes, all out. We have Rashawn Holmes questionable as of this recording. So that's a lot of firepower that's going to be missing. And the price on DeLon Wright, it's gotten a little bit out of hand. So I like going to the mid-range here with Terrence Davis. Even at these elevated prices, a guy that's been very, very consistent here, averaging almost 39 DraftKings points per game over the last 4. Just had this game, just had this matchup with the Memphis Grizzlies and dropped almost 38 DraftKings points there. So you do the math, easy 6x return if he gets the same opportunities, the same usage, and I don't see why any of that changes here for Terrence Davis. The Kings going to take a look at these young guys. Couple games left. They're going to get plenty of opportunity, plenty of run. I think Davis runs with it once again, goes over 40 DraftKings points, and easily pays off these salaries. All right, I promised you my favorite bet of the night. Let's go there next. Presented by our friends at scoresandodds.com. Remember, click the link, get signed up, guys. Tons of analytics, premium picks in all the different sports. You can compare odds across all the different sports books. Just tons of different tools in there for your use. But my favorite bet of the night here in the NBA, we're going with a big spread here. We're going with Philadelphia minus 13.5 against Orlando. Normally don't love these big numbers, but looking into the numbers have already been bet up from minus 13 to minus 13.5. I wouldn't be surprised to see this number grow throughout the day. Why? Philly, a lot on the line here. Win can lock up that number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Philly, just a much better team at home, so very important that they get this W. Brooklyn breathing down their neck for that spot. On the other end, you got Orlando and Detroit kind of fighting it out for that number 1 spot in the draft lottery. So Orlando really not trying to win games right now. I don't see the motivation for them to go in and try to beat the Philadelphia 76ers. So this one smells like a blowout here. Philly 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 home games. Also 4-1 in their last 5 at home against the Orlando Magic. And Orlando really struggled, like we just talked about. Not much motivation to win games. And you see that they haven't covered the spread in 11 of their last 15 games. I think Philly rolls here. Lay the 13.5 Philadelphia. My favorite bet of the night, presented by scoresandodds.com. All right, let's get back to the DFS plays here for the night. We're going to roll with small forward, power forward, Aaron Gordon of the Nuggets. Now I'm expecting Michael Porter Jr. back for...
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Grinderslive, the flagship show, MLB style. I'm doing it for you here on Friday evening, TGIF, man. We're going to close out this week strong, hardcore, just like last week. We had a monster Friday last week. We're going to have another one because, as always, here on this flagship, my 2 baseball shows this year, I've been blessed with the MLB god himself. Kirk Deese is in the house. Kirk, what's up, man?
Yeah, God, sure. Yeah, I love MLB. It's been focusing on it lately while all these fish out there are still playing NBA and having a good time. So it's nice to do a show with you again, Chop. I think the reason we're on it together is because the people have demanded the Chop and the Kirk show, is what I've heard. I know Big Bert sent an email to corporate, I hear, and requesting this. So
I'm hearing some rumblings out there. People are calling it the dream team. I'm not tooting my own horn here, or your horn either, but I don't know, man. There's something to be said for it. The people, I've also been getting a lot of DMs here, a lot of DMs. They've been asking me, come on, you're doing a Friday show with Kirk. We got to know, what does Kid Yahoo do on a Friday like this? What is Kid Yahoo's plans on a Friday night like this?
It's pretty weak these days, Chop. Pretty weak. On a Friday, I'm going to play some DFS. That's my plans. And doing the show takes up a big portion of getting ready for the show. So I'm probably going to play less lineups than I normally would, but I'm going to be playing DFS. The lady who comes home, maybe have a nice little dinner or something like that. But nothing crazy. Saturday night is a much bigger night. We got UFC. We've got bath. That's when I usually take a nice bubble bath. I don't know about you.
Oh, come on now. You're stealing my stuff, man. You're stealing my shtick, man. Saturday is my bubble bath night.
Big Bobby Fire's in chat. What's up, man?
Bobby Firestone, the legend himself, Bobby Fire, the man who, hey, listen, you want to go out on your own terms, you go out like Bobby Firestone. Just sayonara, man. I'm out of here. That's the way you do it. But Bobby's in the house. We got a lot of good people. Guys, this is absolutely 100% your show. Like, you don't want me or Kirk to sit up here and just rattle off a bunch of names for you. That's boring, and we're not fortune tellers, man. We can't tell the future. So this is your show. Please get involved. You got questions? Ask them. We'll answer them. We're saving everything for about the last 15, 20 minutes. We'll answer all your questions. Doesn't even got to be about MLB. Doesn't even got to be about DFS. You want Kirk's favorite wine or something like that? Fire it off. We'll get to it later on. So you got that going for you. We got, I do got to drop a couple promos for you here. The RG Premium subscription. Now you can select your specific sports with the RG Premium subscription, or you can combo the premium sports up. Pick up just about any sports you want, except for the NASCAR package with Stevie. That's kind of his own thing right there. So we'll drop a link in chat here. It'll give you $10 off the first month of RG Premium or combo or whatever you want to do with that. So that's good stuff. You got to get to that.
I just doing my taxes. I just had to add up all those weekly pays to Stevie's package to write off.
Well, I tell you what, I did mine too here on Tuesday. You're bringing up some bad memories.
Yeah,
man.
forget it. Let's move on. Sorry, my bad.
Let's move on. That's a whole different thing right there. That's upsetting. All right, we got to get to the big brain. Big brain. We got a free crunch time today. So as soon as we are over with, you'll get a few minutes of spare time, and then we'll get crunch time. Crunch time is free right now, today, presented by Big Brain, the trivia app. I don't know. Kirk, have you played a little Big Brain yet?
No.
Well, I tell you what,
I was gonna lie, but
I've actually played a couple of tournaments. It's actually quite fun, right? It's really, but I tell you, the guys are really sharp. You really got to know your P's and Q's. So you got to pick your subjects. Basically, what it is an app. It's kind of like DFS. You got 50-50s. You got guaranteed prize pools or prize pools, depending on how many people. You got winner take all. It's like the same. It's contests like that, but it's all trivia. From what I've seen, it's 12 questions every round. It's 12 questions. You're timed on it, right? You got a timer. So the faster you can get your right answer and the more points you're getting. So like if you're waiting to the very end and you take all like 20 seconds, you're not going to get as many points. So it's not like you can Google this stuff. It's not like that. You got to be fast on the trigger and know the answer. Boy, I tell you, I was in it yesterday. I was balls deep in cashing big time in the Game of Thrones trivia. I was in there, man, but I got caught up at the end. A couple of things threw me off. So, but it's very fun. Tonight's topic, after crunch time, the guys will be playing it. Tonight's topic is sports terminology. So we should all be pretty good at that one. So we can get in on that one. And actually the top 2 winners tonight in this contest will get a free month of RG Premium. So that's in addition to all the prizes out there that you're going to get. You're going to get a free month of RG Premium. That's pretty good stuff. So if you haven't checked out Big Brain, download that app. It's fun stuff, man. And no, Jeffrey, I'm not dominating. I'm donating. Oh, yeah, that makes it. You ain't lying. I am donating, man. Because
Chop loses $1 million to Big Brain over course.
I'm like just getting in things. I really don't know anything about it. I'm getting. But the Game of Thrones, I was in it because I actually know that one. But the other stuff, man, it's just like, wow, these guys are too sharp for me. But that's all right. All right. So we got all that out of the way. To fire off your questions. We'll get to it, and we'll get to them later on. We don't have Keach on this show. I don't think he comes by for no MLB projection. So it's just me and Kirky here. We're going to run through this. What do we got? 4:21 Central Time. Let's start off with some pitchers, man, because the people need to know. Now, let me ask you this. Strategic thing. Are you strictly got to have your pitchers first, or is there scenarios where you kind of like don't mind spinning down at pitchers. So if you see some bats out there, you absolutely have to have. Will there ever be a scenario where you play the bats first and then fit in the pitching, or is it always just let me find the pitchers I want and then I'll make the bats happen?
I kind of narrow down my pool. So basically, I take what the slate gives me. So I'll look at all the pitchers and I'll see the top guys who I like. Like you have to like Glasnow, right? You have to like Scherzer, right? Kershaw, you have to like. Then I'll look for the price plays. I mean, you got to love Musgrove at that price right there. I mean, he could be the ace of this. The way he's pitching, at least, could be the ace of tonight. And then I'll look for who can I tolerate? You know what I mean? So. And sometimes there's just a play down there that I love who's too cheap, so I'll focus in on that. But there's some cheaper plays that I can get behind tonight, but then there's just a lot of riffraff that I don't even want any part of. So I'll narrow down the pool to the pitchers I want, and then I'll start building my stacks around it. You can kind of do whatever you want with bats, kind of, because you've got as long as they keep putting Kelenic 2,100 leading off. I'm gonna throw him in every freaking lineup until he hits those two bombs.
We were gonna get to that later. Right? We were gonna talk about Kalinick later, but so talk to me about pitching then. If that's the case, it sounds like you already got your eyes on some people here, and I think we're probably in the same boat here. So, how are you gonna start off your lineups with pitching tonight?
Well, my favorite play is Musgrove. First of all, it's just the price, right? I mean, this guy, if you sort of the numbers, I mean, this is a guy who's always had talent. He was just stuck in that terrible Pittsburgh. I don't know what they do in Pittsburgh. They just ruin any bit of talent they have in Pittsburgh. There's something in their system there. But once he got free, you see what the real talent has. I mean, he's coming in with just about a 35% K percentage, a swinging strike rate that's just a tick off of Scherzer and Glasnow. His control's been excellent. 4.5% walks. Like that's elite. And then he's given up. I mean, he's got a 2.42 Sierra. I think he's got the lowest Sierra on the slate this year. So, I mean, this guy's pitching great. The only worry is a little bit is he doesn't quite go as deep as like a Max will go. But you get a nice discount there. The matchup is certainly good for him here. So yeah, he's my number one play. I mean, the Cardinals, they got some bats, but they will strike out, and they're on the road here in San Diego. This should be all systems go.
And you got Musgrove in there, then I mean that saves you a few dollars off the top two. Then you got to choose yourself on Yahoo. You can only do one of the other guys. You got Glasnow, Scherzer. Is it one of those guys? Which one? And if not, what else are you doing?
Yeah, if it's Yahoo, we're talking it's Scherzer, just because you get the price savings. But you're looking at a 35.5% K percentage. We know what this guy is, right? Like, so the only knock against him here would be that he can give up the long ball, but I mean, he's pitching great this season. Over a 16% swinging strike rate, a CSW of 32%, low walks again. So that's what separates him from Glasnow. You get the price savings, but you get the lower walks. Glasnow has a 10% walk percentage, so can drive up some pitch counts, can cause some problems. But Scherzer will give up. He's a fly ball pitcher, 51% fly balls on this season. He will give up that home run, but you just hope they're solo shots, if that. And the Arizona is just, they're not a great. They're a team I pick on. I know they have this reputation of not striking out a ton, but they're not facing Max Scherzer every night. Max Scherzer is going to strike them out a ton, and so I'll ride him tonight. But it's really, you can't go wrong with either. I mean, Glasnow, he's unbelievable too. I mean, he's almost got a 40% K percentage on this season, and it's just ridiculous what he's doing. Like I said, the walks are the only thing that is the knock against him. The Mets are an offense he should be able to dominate, although the Mets have been somewhat hitting recently. They have been, they were ice cold to start the year, but they're kind of turning it around. But it's a nice park. You don't have to worry about any weather or anything like that. It's just a nice place to pitch. So, I mean, all these guys, these guys are the studs for a reason. Musgrove's the savings.
Okay, those are the studs.
Kershaw would be the next guy.
I mean, how do you feel about Kershaw though? Like, I don't know, man. I can't wrap my hand around that he's still the same dominator. He's just not, right?
Bobby's in chat here, so we got to say Kershaw is the greatest of all time, right? I mean, Kershaw's amazing, but he just doesn't quite have that same strikeout stuff as that next tier. But you get, depending on which site, you do get a discount for it. But certainly is capable of throwing off a good. I think his highest Ks this season has been 8 in the game. But I mean, it's not too shabby, a 26 K percentage. But we're talking about 39 and 35% K percentage, then going down to 26. Yes, his control is impeccable, and this guy just is the king of just avoiding anybody on base, right? Like just racking up efficient innings. But you also worry about pitch count with him because they will pull him if the game gets out of hand. They will rest him whenever you can. Like a guy like Max, he tells the coach when he's coming out, as opposed to like Kershaw.
Yeah. Okay. So after that, I would never recommend anybody play Zach Greinke these days. He's kind of like a little bit, I don't want to use the term washed, but he's not the same dominator he used to. So after you get to those guys, is there anybody else that, let's say, in cash, there's just nobody else, right? You got to choose one of those top 4 guys, right, for cash, or is there anybody else?
I think so. I think you pair Musgrove with one of the studs and you call it a day. There's other great plays in here for sure, but these are more GPP oriented.
Well,
so
tell
I think
me about the GPP then.
Well, I think David Peterson is pretty good. He's had a couple of unlucky starts. He had a couple of bad starts. He's had a couple of great starts. The Rays will strike out a ton, especially against left-handed pitching, where they lead the league in K percentage. They're 30% K percentage against left-handed pitching. So this is a matchup that he certainly could be on the high end of his strikeout range here. And I just don't think people think. I don't think people think he's that good, but I believe he's much better than what people think. And so this is a guy, yes, there's walks to worry about. There's a lot of stuff to worry about. The Mets defense is atrocious. But I think he can put a good start together here. Sandy Alcantara is amazing. This dude is legit as can be, although it's one of the toughest matchups he's going to face, facing the Dodgers. But I don't think anybody's going to go there tonight. And I think that he's certainly capable of putting together a really good performance here. I mean, this dude's pitch repertoire is outstanding. I mean, he gets swings and misses on every one of his pitches. Basically, he's got a nasty 4-seamer where he's like 97 miles per hour. He's got one of the best changeups in baseball, and he gets a nice amount of whiffs on, and he's got a really solid slider. He also will mix in a curveball from time to time. That's not really his swing and miss pitch, but that's one where he'll just freeze the batter and get the called strike. But he is the ace of this staff, and he is legit as can be. It's just a really tough matchup, but this could work out for GPPs. Then there's this guy Oviedo on St. Louis. He's got some K stuff. He's cheap. It's a matchup that he certainly, the Padres are a different lineup here with all these guys on COVID. They don't have Hosmer. They don't have Tatis. They got some guy hitting 6th named Tuca Pita Marcano. I don't know, projected to hit 6th. Don't even know who he is. But anyway, this is a lineup that certainly you could take advantage of. So I could see that working out for GPPs too.
All right. I guess that covers it. What about Corey Kluber? You have any interest in him? He's had like one really dominating start this year. Otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah, but his pitches, he shouldn't be as dominating as he was. I think he just got really lucky. I mean, there's a lot of areas of concern. His fastball velocity is down to about 90 miles per hour now these days. That's different than the old Kluber that we were used to. His swing and strike rate is 13%. That's not too bad. His K percentage is pretty bad, 22.9%. It is a matchup with Baltimore, which he certainly could do well in. They have a 3.7 implied run team total. This is definitely he could rack up some Ks here. So I don't mind it, though on DraftKings he's 9K, right? It's just he's more expensive than Musgrove. It's going to be tough to get behind that.
Yeah. So just one more name I want to throw out there and ask your opinion on this guy. So after you get past the first, second, and third lowest opposing team totals against them tonight, the 4th guy in line is Adrian Hauser from Milwaukee. Milwaukee's, I don't know where they get these guys from. They must have drafted really good because they got like this young pitching staff that really good at Milwaukee. So they get Atlanta. Man, I haven't even checked the lineup, but I know Acuna's not in the lineup.
out, yeah.
Yeah, he rolled his ankle pretty good yesterday. So kind of a what? Anytime you take the best player on the team out of that lineup, what's your interest level in Hauser there?
Yeah, he was really bad for a while, and there was a lot of cause for concern. But he's now rattled off 2 really solid starts out of his last 3. Now, both of those starts were against Miami, so you can take that with a grain of salt. But he did have 10 Ks in his last start, but the underlying peripherals just aren't really there for him. And I did like this kid a while. He did have flashes of strikeout upside, but he doesn't go typically very deep into games. And we're looking at a 20% K percentage right now. I don't think I can get behind it. I think if we're looking to go down like that, I think I would rather go with Skubal for Detroit against the Cubs, who this kid has some strikeout stuff. So he would be the guy that I would go.
All right, fair enough. Let's get to some hitters now. We're going to start off at the catcher position and just give a couple names just to kind of. It's not a big position. I usually look for the cheap guys, and tonight, from what I'm seeing initially before all the lineups come out, about the cheapest guy that looks pretty interesting to me is Danny Jansen, who started the year probably about 0 for 58, but he snapped out of it recently. He's kind of caught his second win there, man. He's hit some home runs lately. So you got Jansen at 2,600 on DraftKings. It's my initial preferred play, but who stands out to you at the catcher position?
Yeah, I mean, if money's not a thing, I know I said I would take some flyers on Skubal tonight, but Wilson Contreras is kind of the cream of the crop, but you got to pay for it at 5.5K on DK. He's someone that hits left-handers very well. You get that home run upside. He's going to have a really nice spot in the lineup here. So that would be the high-end guy. Danny Jansen, I'm with you. Velasquez has been – he's someone we definitely can attack. He's actually someone who has some upside too for a pitcher. He's got a 28% K percentage right now, but of course it's only 23 innings worth, but swinging strike rates are low, but this is a guy that can have problems giving up the long ball, and that's all we want. So we're looking for Danny Jansen for cheap for something like that. Diaz, let me just double check that he made the lineup here for Colorado. Yeah. Diaz he's batting 8th, which stinks, but he's 2.6K. He's a guy who used to hit left-handed pitching really well. He hasn't really hit much of anything lately, but certainly capable of hitting one out in cores, and any catcher for 2.6K in cores is a steal. So I like that play. I don't know. Catcher's usually just part of my stacks or whatever. Austin Nola, I think, is going to get the start tonight. If he does, this is a guy who was raking last year. He's battled some injury stuff this year, but he's now getting back in the thick of it. He went 2 for 4 in the last game that he played. This is a guy, he's a good hitter. Was amazing last season. So 3.6K, I can get behind that if he makes the lineup. Catcher's kind of the weakest position out of everyone. Christian Vasquez, 4,400, I can always get behind. My Red Sox, I don't know. Play whoever you want.
All right, taking into consideration ownership and stuff, would you rather roster, if you had to choose? Like, I'm cutting you, I'm saying you got to have one or the other, man. Would you rather have Cincinnati Bats, or would you rather have Herman Marquez?
Cincinnati Bats. I used to like Marquez a lot, and he still has that name value. Remember, I'm sure a lot of us were pitching Marquez for a while a couple of years ago.
You remember when that one guy said he was the best ever? Like there was one guy out there.
DC.
I didn't want to mention no names, Kirk. I was just trying to say that one guy.
Well, the whole thing, he's figured out cores. Everybody has always said he's figured out cores. This guy has not figured out cores. He's a decent pitcher. Decent. That's about all I can say about him. He's 22% K percentage. Ks are way down than what we're used to seeing with him. If the walks are up, he's 13% walks right this year. He's the only thing he's done is limited the limited the fly balls a little bit this season, but his hard contact is still up there. So this is a guy I want the Reds bats. The Reds lineup is a little weak tonight though, so I guess you could make a case for that. Castellanos isn't in the lineup, although Tyler Naquin is leading off, which is he's a nice play. I mean, I've been shocked whenever they don't play this guy. I mean, this guy's been raking this season. He was a little bit hotter in the beginning, but he's literally fourth in hard contact on the season right now out of all eligible players. And I mean, and he's also not afraid to steal a bag for you too as well. So that's a guy I like. But yeah, I'll side with the Reds. Especially after not really doing much last night until everybody was out of the game and then the scrubs did.
Yeah, that was a weird game. So we'll go to first base, and I just want to remind you guys to get your questions in. Our producer Devin keeping track of everything. He's going to fire them off later, so we need those questions to fill that last gap of time there. If you guys can fire them all up, what you got?
Shout out to Blake Sanders in chat. Real Muto's in the lineup tonight, so he's making his return. And nice. he is a lefty masher for 4.9K against Steven Matz. Matz is someone that I definitely want to pick on. That I like the Phillies tonight in general. I would have liked him without Real Muto fine, but he just makes the lineup much better. Matz is had a problem with the long ball, and I like the Phillies here to put up I like this ballpark too. I think this game's going to go off tonight.
So if you like the Phillies against Matz, you gotta love another left-handed masher, Rhys Hoskins at first base.
Also McCutch leading off.
Oh, McCutcheon, he's a little long in the tooth, but he still gets it done. Old McCutcheon, he still gets it done. Yeah, he's pretty good about it. So we're at first base now, where you mentioned it, Rhys, a lefty masher. If you're willing to pay up, the projections are always going to be real high on Vlad Guerrero, especially with a big team total against Velasquez. And I'll let you talk me through some of your first basemen. Then I got a couple more for you, man. I got a couple more for you. I'm gonna drop some numbers on you. But you give me your guys.
Well, Moustakas is first base eligible or third base eligible on DK. I mean, you got to like him for 4,400. I mean, he should be over 5K in cores. What are you eating there, Chop? What are you trying to sneak in your what are you
got some M&Ms. Yeah. I got the big 10-pound value pack from Costco.
Oh, who must be nice to be a millionaire. Moose, either one, first or third, got to like him. Rhys, like you said, although, he hasn't been the greatest for a while now, but I mean, man, he's actually been rough, but he definitely certainly could take one deep. You got to like the ballpark. Connor Joe is that cheap play and batting second who just paid off. Is that the guy you were going to drop 2,200?
You stole my thunder, man. Connor Glass Joe. He got us there last night and second in the order. I was also going to mention this one.
Where do you come from? Where do you go?
You got to have a little. I like that. We'll call this guy Cotton Joe now. That's his new name, Cotton Joe. So there's got to be a little hangover for Wade Miley right after that last game. Like there's just got to be some. Yeah, there's got to be. So I got a feeling. I like me some Colorado bats tonight, and this guy second in the order for 2,200. You stole my thunder on that one. Who else you got, man?
I mean, it's too easy to build. Like if you throw him and Kelenic in, you got like every other spot you can have the world. Shohei Ohtani is first base eligible in Fenway against Pavetta, who has struggled with left-handed power and also with control. And Shohei is a guy who will run on the base paths too, so you got to like that. Matt Olson against Shoemaker, who's has his problems with the home run ball. He gives up 37% fly balls this season, almost a 20% home run to fly ball rate. I'm under the belief that Shoemaker is not very good whatsoever. 15% K percentage. If you're gonna, if you're up there throwing strikes that can be hit, that Matt Olson is a guy that can definitely take you deep. So you're gonna have to like that. Vlad on the high end. Jared Walsh is just a monster. So if we go see, it doesn't even matter. I mean, their lineup, they should be getting Rendon back, and if they put together their A lineup, I like the Angels here tonight against my Red Sox.
Yeah, he's been real good this year. So I got one for you. Are you a believer in BVP?
Oh, I love. You know what I look forward to every night is when in a private Discord, the little channel we have, when Chop comes in, Tim Anderson, BVP, and
When he hits
bang,
that bang.
Chop loves his BVP.
Yeah, I love a little BVP, and some of it's a little weird, and I'm not telling you 15 at bats is a good sample size, or I'm not telling you that, but I am saying, what if I told you there was a guy pretty cheap tonight on all the sites, batting second in the order, that's had 14 at bats against a particular pitcher, and they've resulted in 5 home runs, 5 home runs and 14 at bats? Are you in on that?
I think it's Mitch Moreland.
I think you've been looking at some daily baseball data here today, man. Is what I think. I think that's pretty good, man. I'm obviously the bats got all the numbers covered, right? So, BVP, it doesn't take it into account. I'm not saying it's, super. It's just interesting on some of the. I look for power, and I look for guys who don't strike out very much. Some say they just see the ball a little bit better, it seems like, and 5 home runs and 14 at bats. That's probably not a fluke. That's probably seeing the ball fairly well. So,
but what it is it gives them confidence too. When they're up there, they got that little extra swag. Like, okay, this is it.
That's why, confidence is a big thing in baseball when you're at that plate. That's why you can go cold real quick, and you start to lose your confidence, and it just snowballs, and then the vice versa. You get hot. You have a little bit more swagger when you walk up there, and the hot streak's there. So, yeah, it matters, but. Yeah, that's a lot of good first baseman for you guys. So take it for you. There's all kinds. We went from super high Vlad, all the way down Connor Joe, almost min salary. Good stuff. Let's go to second base. Get your questions in, guys. Second base. We got another little salary saver here. Like you said, man, there's really no reason tonight not to have 2 top-notch pitchers, because the salary shouldn't be a problem. Right before the show, the Astros lineup dropped. Looks like Robel Garcia is getting the leadoff spot tonight for $2,100 against a left-handed pitcher with a huge team total here. So you got Robel Garcia to save you some more money if you want. Other than that, and I know that guy was on the top of your list, but other than that, who's your favorite second baseman?
Well, give me the rundown. Give me the hometown scouting report.
Man. He's not particularly good. I'm going to tell you that. I tell you what, if you put him and Jared Klenick in a cage and for a home run contest, they may hit 1 or 2 total between the 2 of them. So he's about on the same boat as Kalinick. All right, let's put it like that. But that's not saying much. But
you're not high on Kalinick.
He's a journeyman. Garcia's a journeyman, but still, he's had some big hits this year. You get a leadoff guy in a really good, sweet spot like this for $2,100. It just reaffirms that you should probably have like a combination of Scherzer, Glasnow, Musgrove in every lineup. And maybe mix in a little Kershaw or whatever. Like, money shouldn't be an issue at pitcher.
And this is a bullpen game, pretty much, for the Rangers here. So they
How is that bullpen? You're the bullpen guy. Tell me about.
They're actually pretty good this year so far. They got they have the one of the lowest xFIPs on the season, 3.66 xFIP. So I'm not sure, but.
They did burn through some guys last night, though, in a tight game. So, you always had an advantage when you see them 2 nights in a row coming out of that bullpen.
Yep. That's for sure. So, I can get behind that, I guess. He was not, contrary to your belief, at the top of my list, though. It's kind of rough second base, to be honest with you. But the guy I keep looking at is Cronenworth at 4K. I just think he's going to get overlooked. Here, like, people just don't play this guy enough, and had a big rookie campaign last season. This is a guy who can go deep. That's all I'm looking for, is a bomb here. So other than that, Ozzie Albies I kind of like at 4,700, batting cleanup. Marcus Semien I like, but these guys are all, you got to pay for these guys. So I would have loved Marwin Gonzalez if they had him leading off again. I still don't mind him at 3,900, but I don't know. I don't have anyone I actually love at second base tonight.
Yeah, that's why I highlighted another guy for you, because it's a weak position. I got another guy for you. Six extra base hits in 15 at-bats against Steven Matz. Gene Segura. Let's go for it. This is Gene Segura time.
I'm with it. You know, he'll come through with a homer every now and then. You got to like him with the platoon. You got to like. I love the Phillies as a stack tonight in general. So, and his price is fine. It's that 4.4K. I prefer Cronenworth just a tad more, but I like them both.
Let's go to third base now. We're whipping through this, and once we get through with them all, we'll answer all your questions, guys. So fire off your questions. We're keeping track of everything. So third base. This is another kind of a weird position. I don't know if you have anybody highlighted out, but there wasn't a lot of guys that stood out to me. Who's some of your favorites?
Moose Tacos.
Yep.
If you don't have him at first, Alec Boehm, 2,900. He's been rough lately, but you know, give him the platoon. He's a guy that can go deep. Where you keep saying I like this Phillies. Biggio, who has not been very good this season, but you got to like the price for 3,400. Did have a decent game against Atlanta yesterday. Had a good game against Houston recently, showing some signs of light at the plate. So can go there. Eugenio Suarez is kind of that top. You know, I mean, you wouldn't be surprised if he double dong in cores tonight, right? 5,500. Yeah, can get behind that. DJ LeMahieu, you got to like the Yankees tonight against Mean Dean Kramer. Jose Ramirez, no one's going to play because of that price. Any of these, I mean, this is a spot you don't want to get too cute with. You got the best bang for your buck is Moustakos, but you want somebody, you want to make sure you're getting a home run here, or at least trying for it.
You got, like you said, and Alex Bregman's out there, expensive, but against a left-hander, you always like that matchup. And what's
Evers.
up, these Colorado's guys? They're underpriced. We got a guy batting fifth in the order here for 2,400 on DraftKings.
Fuentes, is it? Oh, yeah, he's batting. Yeah, they moved up. I think he's homered now, I think, in back-to-back games. Yeah, sign me up. I missed that. 2.4K for sure, definitely.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, we're going to move on then because we got some those were some good third basemen. That's pretty easy money. Oh, yeah, here we go. We're going to shortstop now, and there's one guy, and I know you're on this train. I don't even have to worry about this one. I think we're locked into this one. The best shortstop on the slate. Give it to me. Lefty masher, give it to me.
Trevor Story?
Bingo. Trevor Story. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This guy, he's demolished him some left-handed pitching in his career, right?
Sure has. He's demolished a lot of people in cores. You know, it's been a little rough this season recently. You know, it had the nice day off, a little recuperated, refreshed, probably took a bath last night. Wouldn't you think? Is that what on your day off? What do you think?
Definitely. If I was a baseball player and I got a day off, I'd definitely be hitting the bubble bath for sure at that night.
So there you go. Bubble bath narrative, Trevor Story. 6K is tough, but and again, we can play him next to Fuentes for 2.4K. And so it's like you're paying 4.2K per position for two guys with home run power at cores.
Maybe people are scared that Wade Miley might throw another no-hitter and maybe we get him a little under-owned. I doubt it, but you never know.
People are too sharp to that nowadays.
Yeah, they're right.
Back in the day, it would have been people would be playing Wade Miley, you know.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's see. We got another guy who's a pretty good hitter, but he's definitely been a guy who's been pretty good against lefties his career. Now you like screwball, but you know, Javier Baez, he's in the mix here too, batting cleanup. So these guys are expensive, but I don't think
no one's gonna pay him.
Yeah,
no one's gonna play him. Yeah.
And you know, we've already highlighted a bunch of guys that are like less than $2,500 that are real cheap. Like you can get these guys, you can get any of these other guys, these expensive guys in your lineup if you want to. So you got that mix. Anybody else out there at shortstop that stands out for you?
All these top guys, Xander Bogaerts, after a monster game the other day. Any of these guys.
Bogaerts has been really good this year.
Amazing.
You know, the Red Sox in general have been really good. Now, it begs to ask the question, is Alex Cora Cora doing some fishy things behind the scenes?
You think we got some drums down there? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe some fishy things going on there in Boston, but they're pounding the ball. So you got to what about in a matchup of, you already mentioned a really good pitcher, Alcantara. What about a really good hitter and Seager going against him? Who would you favor in that matchup?
Yeah, Seager is dead to me after I played him the other night as like the key differentiator against what was it? Who were they playing? I don't know, Seattle when everybody went off. Everybody homered and Seager couldn't even sniff a hit. It was just I 0 for 5. He's dead to me. So I think he's a good play tonight. I actually think Alcantara is amazing. So I'm a little lower on him than normal, but I can guarantee you I will not be personally playing him tonight just because I'm stubborn.
There you go. We got too many good options anyway. Let's go to outfield where, boy, oh boy, we're highlighted by one Jared Klinick leading off again for Min Price on DraftKings. Now, there was a lot of hype around this kid in the offseason. People were just like running out to get his like rookie cards and all this other stuff. I'm not saying he's a bust, but it has a little bit of this. It feels a little like we're going to roster this guy for like 2 weeks straight at min salary, and he's not going to do nothing. Then the day we don't roster him, he's probably going to homer twice. I don't know.
Yeah, he did make solid contact a bunch last night. He had that rookie syndrome where he thought he banged it out in the first at bat, and it was just a foul ball, but like wasn't even close to going out. But you can see the potential there. I know we have a friend who, I can't believe it, who stocked up on all his rookie cards. That was his retirement. He bought all the PSA Kelenic 10s for the last year. And then he drops in chat yesterday when he went 0 for 4. Thank God I sold him. He didn't even tell us. Can you believe that?
People like that.
Yeah. He's like, I 3x'd my money.
You know, if Klinick would have gone for 3 home runs, he'd be like, oh, I got all these Klinick cards. I'm the best ever. Like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Man.
Hate big talkers like that, you know.
Big talkers, man. What else in the outfield stands out for you?
So there's a ton of play. I mean, Teoscar Hernandez is way too cheap for against Velasquez and his home run issues. Juan Soto this Riley Smith guy is just a sinker ball pitcher who's not very good in general for Arizona. Washington is a good stack tonight. Juan Soto definitely leads the pack for the bets. Him and Schwarber. Schwarber is just priced 3,700 is just too cheap for Schwarber there. So those are the price plays. They're probably going to be really popular though. So be cognizant of how you build around them, but certainly have monster home run upside. Aaron Judge seems a bit too cheap. Stanton, you have to like on the high end. You can do what you want. You know, we can play Jordan Alvarez for 5K. We can, like we said, if you throw Kelenic and Cotton Eye Joe in your lineup, you can pretty much, take all these guys. So I'm looking for monster home run upside. And I like Naquin the best for Cincinnati.
Yeah. What about Chris Bryant? Like you could pair him with a little bit of Javier Baez, get the 2-4, two guys who've been pretty good against lefties.
Yeah. I mean, the Cubs are an interesting stack tonight for sure. Yeah.
You mentioned Teoscar. That's one of my favorites too. I had him highlighted. And then I had some salary savers that came out here that I thought were interesting.
Scooball's given up 10 home runs on the season so far, and 5 over his last 2. Certainly, he's a top prospect though. That's why I like him. So I'm always looking to I'm trying to envision the best case scenario with these top prospects, but normally it doesn't always work out so well, especially last night with the Seattle guy, Logan or whatever.
Well, listen, there was a wise man that once told me on Yahoo, you don't even have to stack. You're just looking for home runs.
That's it.
Chris Bryant can deliver a home run. So can Hernandez. You know who else can deliver a home run? Got moved up to 5th in the order tonight against Zach Greinke. Chris Davis, Chris with a K, moved up to 5th in the order tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting to see him back. And Chris Davis used to crush Texas. Like that was like the play. You always played Chris Davis in Texas. He like mashed home runs. Now he's on Texas. 2.6K on DraftKings.
And he's hit 2 home runs against Zach Greinke in his career, and only 11 at bats. It's 5 for 11 with 2 home runs. Showing a little bit of power there. So maybe he's not, maybe he's not just confused by the Zach Greinke screwball. Maybe he's got a read on it.
I don't mind. I mean, if you think about Nate Lowe, it's Brandon Lau. I always get them confused, man. Brandon Lau, Nate Lowe. You got the Cuban Missile. You got Chris Davis. Then you got David Baby Doll.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, right behind him there for 2.6K. I mean, those guys are priced. I think that's a nice stack tonight, Texas.
It actually is. Another guy who's batting cleanup tonight. I haven't seen him in cleanup too much this year, but Nomar Mazara, only 2,100 against Jake Arrieta. Jake Arrieta, pretty much dust. I'm not saying he's totally worthless, but he's kind of dusty these days. So Mazara is interesting. And you could go some other guys who are cheap, but man, there's so much. We've already named so many guys who are like under 2,400, 2,600. I think, there's so many ways you can go with your lineup tonight. So with that being said, guys, let's get to some questions. So I'm going to now bring in producer Devin. I hope we have some questions, Devin.
We got some questions, and just
right.
just in time.
Wait a minute. Wait,
friend,
yeah. Our boy Bert is in the house.
Bert, we was looking for you all the show, Bert. You pop in the last 10 minutes, man. You're one of those. Oh, that's okay. We can appreciate it. Bert, what have you been up to today, Bert?
Tell us what you got at ShopRite today, Bert.
Yeah, did you go to ShopRite? I didn't go today, Bert. I mean, it's my son's birthday. I haven't been out the house yet. So
for the people that don't know, Bert met you in ShopRite, right? Correct? In the
produce section.
Produce
Section at ShopRite. Bert, these good people's down here in San Antonio. I trust them all. So
happy birthday to the little head chopper, by the way.
yeah, he's not little anymore.
Not
man.
little anymore.
He's almost as big as Dad now. It's crazy, but it happens. Let's get to some questions. Devin, you're in charge. You can give them to whoever you want and do whatever you want with them.
We'll bounce back and forth. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right, we'll start with this one from Stan. Kirk, Stan wants to know DK tournaments, thoughts on double barreling Glasnow and Scherzer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big fan. All right, Chop. Jeremy wants to know. We'll skip that one. Eric wants to know DK tournament Marlin stack.
Marlin stack. Let me pull up. Oh man, I can't. I just can't do it. Like they're just not. They're just one of those offenses that even if they're in a good matchup, they just don't explode enough for me. So they're not on my radar.
They're certainly not in a good matchup tonight.
I think every single night they're going to garner some interest because there's always that one night where the vomit Marlin stack goes off. So this was the one we skipped. Kirk, Jeremy wants to know, do you have any interest in Arrieta tonight?
I do not have any interest in Arrieta.
All right. Don't forget to smash that like button, everybody. Somebody was asking if DC and Siege ever got into that fight. I remember there was some talk of a fight. I don't think it ever.
Unfortunately, Siege couldn't get medical clearance, so
you hate to see it.
The fight was never went on.
All right, Kirk, we got your thoughts on this. So, Chop Stan wants to know any interest in Washington bats.
Like not really, because I think I can get a lot of the production from just a couple guys like Soto and maybe one of his teammates. So I'm not really into full stack. I don't have to full stack everybody, and they're just not on my radar to full stack.
Yeah, somebody in chat was saying Kalinick batting leadoff again, so there's that cheap 0.
I'm giving Kalinick a hard time because he gave us an offer last night, but I'm sure he's going to be fine.
You were dropping that Dusty moniker on people left and right for a minute there.
Kalinick.
Oh, man. Jason wants to know, Kirk, are the Yankees in Camden going overlooked? Short field with boppers like Judge, Stanton, and Voit all priced down.
Yeah, I don't think they're going overlooked. I think they're going to be pretty popular tonight. But it's a 13-game slate. There's so many other spots here that their ownership will everyone just can't suck up too much ownership. So I think it's a great play. I think, yeah, their lineup's getting a little bit more pop with Luke Voit back in the lineup now. They did lose Glaber because he tested positive, but he hasn't really been doing much this season anyway. Stanton, Judge, LeMahieu, Clint Frazier is cheap. Yeah, that's a good stack. Just make sure you don't play Brent Gardner, who's probably going to homer now that I said that.
There you go. That's exactly right, though. The one you besmirch is the one that hits the home run. While we're talking about boppers, dingers, and dongs, don't forget we got free crunch time coming up after this. We're going to be doing trivia with Big Brain, and the topic tonight is sports terminology, so we should all have a pretty good leg up on that one. Tony wants to know, how about O'Grady for the Padres, Chop? Which, in my opinion, sounds like a gumshoe. Some kind of old detective, O'Grady.
O'Grady? Is he a pitcher?
No, Brian O'Grady, batting 7th, I believe. 8th?
Yeah,
7th.
Usually I'm not a big 8 or 9 guy, but if he's in the top 7, I guess not really. Let's face it. I think Kirk nailed it earlier that sometimes your hitters feed off of each other in a lineup, and when that lineup is not as strong as it once was, everybody kind of suffers a little bit. So probably not. Probably not on that guy.
He's actually, so I just looked him up. He's actually a decent prospect with a bit of power. So
Got some power, yeah, a lot of ISO.
yeah. So you could do worse than 2.5. I don't know. That's all I know. I don't even know him. I just looked up his stuff here quickly, but he looks like he's got some pop.
All right, Jay wants to know, Kirk, better stack on DK, Oakland or Toronto?
Toronto is the better stack for if you're not considering ownership, right? Because they're going to be popular, but they have all the big guns that could absolutely go off. Now, when they don't, it stunks. But they got Boucher, who's a definite home run threat. Semyon's a great bat. Guerrero's monster home run threat. Teoscar Hernandez monster home run threat. Grichuk is a monster home run threat. These guys will strike out too, but so they're the better one. But Oakland is definitely going to be overlooked tonight. I think on that. Anyone look up the top stacks, the smash percentage article that was on RG today?
I didn't see.
Anyway, Oakland has the best leverage tonight out of all the stacks against Shoemaker.
We love leverage.
So let's do it.
All right, Chop Bert wants to know, what's the best ace tonight? Got to give your boy the goods.
Yeah, well, Kirk likes Musgrove quite a bit. I like the savings too. If you're asking me for raw points tonight, I gotta go Glass now. I think Tyler Glass now has got a pretty juicy matchup there with the Mets.
All right, moving on. Kirk, Jay wants to know, better one-off DK single entry, Bregman or Ramirez?
For ownership reasons, Ramirez.
And I think we have caught up on all the QQs. Maybe you guys want to touch on your top favorite stacks?
Sure, Kirk. Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite stacks out there, man?
I mean, I love the Yankees, but there's no secret there. I like both sides of cores tonight. I think they're obviously, but if you want something that's a little sneakier, I think the Phillies are going to go off tonight, and I got to tout my home squad here. The Red Sox are just swinging a nice hot bat. So, although I also do like the Angels, so I like that game in general.
All right, friend of the show, Frederick wants to know, I may have missed it, but any interest in Smiley versus Milwaukee? And I don't think we actually touched on Smiley, did we?
We didn't. And he's going to be pretty popular tonight because I think the bat is throwing him out there in lineups. He's hit or miss. His stuff does not, he's had some decent performances, but he's had some really rough ones as well. Just low strikeouts on the season. I know he does have some strikeout stuff in there, but he's under a 20% K percentage on the season. So I get the matchup is great, but I just think that there's no need to really go there.
All right. And somebody asking if we liked Oakland. I think we liked that one. Jason, down to my last dollar on FanDuel, Chop. Who's my the win SP for GPPs tonight?
Man, down to
last dollar. You better win, Chop. You better win.
Some grim times for Jason.
There's just too many hitters out there that are cheap. You got to go with the best raw points on FanDuel, the best pitcher out there. For me tonight, it's Glass now. So don't worry about price tag. I think that's got to be the guy. All
right. Moving on. Jay wants to know, better stack on FanDuel over DK due to pricing. I'm assuming that was related to the Oakland or Toronto question.
Let me pull up FanDuel now.
I mean, listen, if you're looking at pricing, and we went through with some of these guys, the Colorado stack on DraftKings seems pretty cheap, pretty good,
Oakland leading the way too for a difference in on FanDuel too between ownership and their smash percentage.
All right. Well, we are all out of questions, and we're just about out of time, waiting on the Crunch Time crew to hop in chat. Jason wants to know, last spot in FanDuel, Cotton Eye Joe or Bomb?
Oh, that's a FanDuel one.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not worried about salary. We're worried about raw points. So I got a feeling Kirk likes Bomb for raw points.
But if you don't have Kalenic in there, make him over both of those guys.
Ooh.
All right, let's end with the home run calls of the day.
Kalenic hits 2 of them tonight.
Is he breaking out?
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Whoa. You know what? I'm going to take me some some BVP. Well, I need to check Roth's weather edge, but
Yes.
if the weather is good in Minnesota, I'm gonna go Mitch Moreland to pop another one against Shoemaker.
I like that. Let's see here. I'm scrolling quick here.
Give you some weather edge.
Oh, we got a minus 12.5% home run percentage.
Scrap it. Scrap that one. I don't like to be on the bad side of it. What's the best weather edge spot out there for me, Kirk? And I give you a player. Come on, give me the best weather edge.
The first screen I see is in Fenway.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah,
So
I'm not going.
You got to go either
You
Red
know what?
Sox
Let me pass.
or Angels.
Let me pass on that. I'm gonna go Teoscar or Hernandez because Velasquez is like he can give up some bombs. So let's go Hernandez.
And looks like Stanton got scratched. Somebody in chat saying.
Oh, okay.
And
Weakens that lineup.
looks like we got our co-hosts here for crunch time, so I might go ahead and let them hop in, and we'll start the swap over if you guys are cool with that.
I mean, this is amazing. Free cheese. You get cheese.
Doesn't get much
on the
better than
free
this.
They put cheese on the free show.
Doesn't get much
Incredible.
better than this.
Incredible. Let's do it. Let's do it. I don't know. how
He should
this
be
is
like,
working,
I'm
but-
not. She should at the point where he should show up and be like, I'm not working for free. I'm not doing this for free. And just walk off.
That should be the case. All right. So how are we doing this, Devin? I didn't get no prep on this one. Can everybody see Meansy? Can they see Roth? Oh, well, you can see that Cheese ain't here. Is Cheese too good for it? Cheese is too good for the show already?
I see Roth, Meansy.
All right. Well, I don't know, guys, but I guess we're going to turn it over to these guys. So this was Kirk Deese. This was Devin asking the question. I was Head Chopper. We walked you through some MLB plays today. It was a fun time, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. Good luck in those GPPs. We're going to turn it over to Roth and turn it over to Meansy and turn it over to Cheese.
Hi, Chop. Hi, Dees.
All right, guys. We'll
What
catch
up?
you guys
I just
later.
wanted to say good luck to Jason Mayo with his last dollar in play tonight. I
Oh,
hope you
man.
win, brother. I'm sweating it. I hope you win.
You
And
always win
Bert,
your
I'll
last
see you
dollar.
next week, Bert. Bert, I'll see you next week.
Later, guys.
Later.
So I didn't
Yes.
even realize that was live because we jumped in and Chopper said, right? I assume we're live right now, correct?
Yes, we are live.
We tune in and Chopper goes, I would tell them that if they're not paying me, I'm out of here. And I was like, is this behind the scenes? What's going on here? But nope, that's live. Geez, welcome to the show, man. You're live.
Hey, I am alive. Yes,
It's-
I am alive.
It's like when you call someone and you put them on speakerphone and you have to give them the courtesy that
Right.
you're on speakerphone.
Yeah.
You don't just
Everyone can hear you.
right. Exactly.
I won't do what we
Good-
normally do
good.
in pre-show.
Good office scene on that one, Ruff, but I'd have to talk to someone else about it. So
Yeah. The thing about The Office is it's not funny. So
you're lit. Like, how does it feel to be literally the only person who thinks that?
I don't think that's the case, but I don't know. Maybe just it's maybe just
Discord,
super awkward.
YouTube chat. Find one person who's watching. Just you can admit it.
Okay.
Maybe I'll send you a T-shirt if you are serious. No, because then everyone will lie. Find someone legitimate who actually says that, and then we'll revisit.
Well, Andy, that's an unfair. There is no one legitimate who says that. Someone might
Fair. Good
legitimately
point.
say that, but they're not legitimate.
They're legitimately lying. Yes.
I feel like you're illegitimizing me by saying this, but
You
That's
actually are
what I'm
doing
going
that to
for.
yourself. We are just here.
hey guys, it's good to see you both. We've got a lot going down today. We've got, of course, some baseball to talk about. Cheese, I think you're probably the man for the job as you are very, very good at the MLB content.
Probably, but what is it? Every day, like 30 seconds after crunch time starts, a significant player gets scratched. It was Gallen the other day. Now Stanton just got scratched.
Yes.
What is this? The NBA?
I know this is silly. I guess. Anyway, I'll talk baseball, and then while Meansy talks, I will do a whole bunch of swap-a-rooskies.
We do have a trivia contest coming later, but I'm going to hit one with Roth. A trivia question now. What's Giancarlo's old first name?
Mike.
There we go.
I pay attention. I listen. This was discussed. Okay, so how much Stanton did you have real quick?
He was basically Judge and Stanton were my two highest owned players.
Okay.
So
Should we start with basketball tonight?
Yeah.
that's good. It's good. And last I checked, we're still waiting on an Angels lineup, unless that came out in the last minute, which is also pretty important to me. So I'll go ahead and talk, and then I'll just switch everything.
Before we dive in,
And a
we
Blue
do
Jays
have-
lineup too.
we've got a little bit of housekeeping we got to take care of before we
Yeah.
start just jumping in. This is a free crunch time. It is presented by Big Brain. So a big shout out to the folks at Big Brain. If you have no idea what Big Brain is, you should download the app because it's basically trivia meets DFS. You get to enter money on different tournaments of different categories, head-to-heads, 50-50s, tournament style. Only it's trivia and it's fun. And the category that we're doing later today after lock is sports terminology. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, sports terminology. I have been Googling and researching obscure sports terminology. Meansy, do you know what catching crabs is?
I mean, back to sophomore year in college. I mean, no, I don't.
It is in rowing. If you're rowing and every time you pull the oar out, you got to make it parallel. Otherwise, if you actually catch the water, you'll get clipped by the thing.
I'm gonna die if that is actually a question tonight.
That is, so if you're rowing really fast and you get your oar caught in the water, that is called catching crabs. I've been researching these things because I don't want to just lose $10 in this tournament.
I got excited when I saw the one that they just tweeted out that what's it called when you hit 3 strikes in a row in bowling. It's like, if it's gonna be like that, I'm gonna get a perfect score tonight.
That's a gobble gobble. That's a turkey there. Yeah. Well, we'll see. The last time we did this, and we've got a little time. The last time we did this, it was Duke knowledge. It was like Duke basketball questions. Meansy is a lifelong Duke fan and played basketball at Duke. And the questions were freaking hard, man.
Not for Meansy and a couple other guys. Yeah.
Yeah, not for Meansy, but I just got crushed on that. But we're going to be doing that. And by the way, if you download the Big Brain app now, they're doing a 100% match up to $50. So $50 in your deposit, you get an extra $50 on your account. We had a good time with it last time, and we had no chance of winning other than Meansy. This time, I feel like I've got like a slim chance to win, so it should be even more fun. All of that coming after lock. We also have Meansy about to talk some hoops. Means just bonkers slate, I imagine.
It is the epitome of a Roth slate. It's like I'm struggling to figure out where to spend money, and it's all the 3K guys you could ever want. So it's like the biggest Roth slate. I imagine you're going to be jamming in lineups while Cheese is talking.
I will do exactly that. That is what I do. And I've been very successful taking your advice, especially late in the season with all this crazy stuff happening. It's like the average player has not reacted well, but you, Meansy, you, sir, have.
Cheese is going to have no idea who I'm talking about tonight.
Oh,
I looked at lineup HQ to see like who's the top points per dollar guys, and it was like I don't know any of these people. I'm sure they're
well, it should be a good time. A couple other things to note for this Big Brain that we're doing. If you win, not only do you get the money, but the top 2 people who place here first and second, you get a month of Rotogrinders Premium added in. So that right there is incentive to go ahead and play. If you think you know sports terminology, then download the Big Brain app. We've got time after lock to kind of get you all set up. So right now, just download the app and we can walk you through the rest. Also, it's a free show. So if you're on YouTube, mash that like and subscribe button. And RG Premium, we've got a deal going. You get $10 off your first month if you want to sign up for some RG Premium. But you can hold off on that because you're going to listen to these 2 guys and you're going to say, you know what, I do want RG Premium. And we'll lead it off here talking some baseball. Cheese, how you feeling, man?
I mean, it throws me off so much when like everything fits perfect. I had the greatest lineup going, and now I don't. But
there's no like 1v1 swap. You can't share.
There's so many great players today. There really are. Yeah, so the pitching side is pretty narrowed down. The hitting side is wide open. You can go a lot of different ways with the bats. But I don't like a lot of the pitchers tonight. I X'd out almost everybody.
Okay, well, before we get into some of the pitchers, just a quick little weather update. There's a low chance of seeing a delay in 3 spots, and I don't think we're going to see a delay in either of them. But that would be in Colorado, in Minnesota, and in Boston. That's it. I mean, that's it.
Those are generally more hitting spots anyway.
And I think even more likely than a delay in those spots would be a late start in those spots. So just pretend weather isn't an issue. Don't worry about rain.
I'll make
the
that
other
a
thing
life
I'll know.
rule.
Say what?
A life rule. Don't worry about weather.
Well,
Okay.
let's not go that far. Have you seen the weather in Toronto? And by in Toronto, I mean in Dunedin, Florida.
Yes. What do you got? What do you have to say about that?
I'm ridiculously excited about it because A, it's my hometown. B, it's a tiny ballpark and it's second in baseball in runs scored right now. And C, the winds are blowing out to right at 20 miles per hour when it's 80 degrees. That's really good hitting weather. And I hope you don't want a pitcher there.
No, that's definitely a hitting spot. Even if it was in a different ballpark with neutral weather, we would want bats there.
Oh, good. I might play baseball just to stack that game. I might do
Yeah.
it for the first time ever. All right. Well, let's talk about some of these pitchers and we will get to the bats.
All right. So we have basically 3.5 aces, but the half is way cheaper than the other three. We're looking at Glasnow, Scherzer, and Kershaw. And then to me, I mean, like Joe Musgrove maybe is right there with those three guys anyway, but he's priced down enough on a slate where you really need that salary that he's kind of my go-to guy here. If money is no issue, I do like Glasnow the best. Scherzer second, Kershaw third, Musgrove fourth, barely. But like they're all so close that I just think that the discount to Musgrove is too big. So certainly on DK, he's kind of your cash game go-to guy. He allows you to fit two good pitchers in. But even on FanDuel, I think you play him in cash games because he's way underpriced there relative to the others. So he's my choice. Trying to find cheaper stuff gets dicey in a hurry. To me, the mid-tier is all very overpriced for who they are. Like, there's nothing particularly wrong with like Savali and Greinke have really good matchups. Drew Smiley, who's all over the place, has a good matchup. David Peterson maybe kind of has a decent matchup, and maybe kind of he's decent. But personally, like I'm just going up and then I'm punting all the way down with some garbage because it's kind of garbage in the mid-tier. And if I'm not going cheap at hitter, I want to go way expensive there too. So I'm playing guys like Tariq Skubal, who really has as much upside as the mid-tier. Like he has more strikeout ability than Zach Greinke. It's not likely that he outperforms Zach Greinke. Zach Greinke's a way better pitcher. And I'd say the same for Griffin Canning. Griffin Canning's as good a pitcher as Aaron Savali for $3,000 less. And of course the matchup is why he's less, but I think he plays some cheap nonsense at SB2 on DK.
Okay. Anything over on FanDuel?
So Musgrove is so cheap. I think he pretty much just stopped there in the vast majority of lineups.
Tournament takes over there. There's a guy who you wouldn't normally play, or no, that's just, you can get whoever you want. So just play the expensive guy.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I would say that David Peterson is cheap, and it's okay. Like I didn't X him out of the 150 lineups. Yeah, I have a couple David Petersons thrown in there, but like Musgrove on FanDuel in particular is just vastly mispriced.
Okay. Well, then I suppose we can talk about some of the bats, and we'll begin at the catcher position.
All right. So the Yankees stuff is different now. Now we have two Yankees catchers. Sanchez is pretty pricey for the slate, but Higashioka is not pricey for the slate. He's kind of my favorite cheap guy now. I'm fine with the other expensive guys, but they are definitely not targets on this slate. I think if you have a little more than Higashioka, you're probably playing Barnhart at Coors, maybe Vasquez. But then the very cheap stuff, still pending this Toronto lineup, which is bothering me. That's getting pretty close to game time to not have a lineup, but Danny Jansen would be a play at 2,600, or you could do Elias Diaz because he's 2,600.
Geez, Angels did come out. You want me to read it real quick?
Yes, please.
Fletcher, Otani, Trout, Rendon, Walsh, Upton, Iglesias, Ward, Butera.
The rare good news when they wait for the lineup is Rendon is back in. Usually it's bad news, but that is actually a good thing. Okay. So anyway, yeah, catcher is not a lot.
Okay, we'll go to first. I'm sorry, I'm looking at all these different settings we need to be in Join.me. But go ahead, go to first.
Yeah, you're good. Okay, first base has a lot. The pricing, as we always see, like FanDuel, you can get a whole bunch of really good players, like way too close to $3,000. So just play some of these good players. DraftKings, Hoskins, Moustakas, and Olsen are the three that are too cheap, kind of right around 4K. Whereas on FanDuel, like those guys are all around 3K, and it's just too cheap. Although it's also a little easier to get up to Vlad Guerrero on FanDuel at 4,000 or Freeman at 3,900. If you have money just sitting around, I would play Vlad. But if you don't, I'm fine with those 3K guys. And then if you want to go cheaper than that on DraftKings mostly, you can get away with it. We've got like, Connor Joe is batting second at Coors Field for 2,200. Michael Chavis is leading off for 2,600. Maybe Rowdy Tellez will be in the lineup for 2,800. Like you can go really cheap if you need to. And then Josh Bell is also a good value on both sites.
That's your Blue Jays lineup. I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
Simeon, Boucher, Vlad, Teoscar, Grichuk, Biggio, Gurriel, Rowdy, Jansen.
Yeah, what were they waiting for? That's exactly the lineup everyone would have guessed. Thanks for waiting, but at least we don't have to change everything for it.
Okay, second base.
All right, this is the worst position today, especially on DraftKings. If you got money, which you kind of don't, like I don't think this is a place to spend, but Simeon and LeMahieu, maybe Altuve, but mostly Simeon and LeMahieu are the guys I want. Actually, I never did look for the Houston lineup. Altuve's not playing, so don't play him. But he was kind of the outcast anyway for me. I do want to mention the Robo Garcia leading off for Houston at bare minimum salary on DraftKings. He's actually a dude with some power, and I think you play him in some tournaments there. Because the second base values just kind of don't exist on DraftKings, at least. I don't really want to play Louis Arias, but I think he'll probably be the chalk because he's leading off and he's cheap. On FanDuel, I like that you can afford some of the better guys. Like Albies is pretty good to me. Kevin Biggio is second base eligible on FanDuel, and he's 2,400. So that's probably the guy I would play as the tournament one-off. And then Michael Chavis, who I mentioned at first on DraftKings, is a cheap second baseman on FanDuel if you need it.
Okay, let's keep going.
Third base is good as per usual. I would put Moustakas first, and I guess Bregman, then Jose Ramirez, then Devers, but they're all just fantastic. I like all of them, and spending up is great, except we do have values here too. On the DraftKings side, you've got Alec Baum in that weather game. He's 2,900, which is just a little too cheap. Miguel Andujar is 2,700. You've got guys for Cincinnati who are third base eligible and in the mid 3Ks. It's a tough spot. I really wish we had two third basemen. That's why I like on FanDuel is you can play two of these guys. But DraftKings, I think some of your lineups you're going up just because it's so good. But I do want a few of those cheaper guys. Every price range at third base is better than it was at second base.
Shortstop.
Story, Turner, Bichette, Suarez, Bogarts, Baez, Seager, Correa. They're all good. I think you separate them by saying you don't really separate them. This is the spot. Like if I'm stacking or even mini stacking any of those teams, that's the guy I want to build around with that stack. I don't think I'm going to play like Trey Turner on his own or Bichette on his own or Baez on his own. Maybe Bogarts or Seager and Story I would play on their own in tournaments. But all those guys are so good that it's tough to try to save at shortstop. If you are trying to save, I mentioned Robo Garcia at second. He's shortstop also. And then Ha-Seong Kim is 2,200. And as just a pure punt, I think that's acceptable. And you don't need to punt shortstop on FanDuel. You can afford the good bats.
All right. Well, that brings us to the outfield where one man down, but surely there's plenty that can slide right in there.
Yep. So Judge was cheaper anyway. If for some reason you had Stanton, you didn't have Judge, that's your swap, Stanton to Judge. The high end is pretty great. I love Trout and Ohtani. I love Soto. But I like all those guys better than the Reds outfielders, even though I love the Reds outfielders. But then it's the Blue Jays who are too cheap, and I think we're going to run into some serious Blue Jays chalk in the outfield. Teoscar, Grichuk, and Gurriel are really easy to fit in on both sites, and I think it's totally fine to play them regardless of ownership because it's going to get spread out. There's so much to like, but I do think if there's chalk, is the Toronto outfield because they're just clearly too cheap. Like I said, even if they weren't playing in this ballpark in this weather, they're kind of underpriced against Velasquez. There's loads of stuff to like at every price range. There's no way I could name every guy that I'm considering, but if you need to go all the way down cheap, like the rookie Kelenic is leading off again.
How'd that go last night?
I don't know. I was asleep.
Oh, okay.
I really wanted to watch this first game, but it was after bedtime.
Yeah.
Clint Frazier, Gurriel, I mentioned, Akiyama, Larnach, Mazzara. There's so many cheap outfielders that if you need to go cheap, Avisail Garcia, it's totally fine to do. But I love the high end and the mid tier too. I love every tier of outfielders. Whereas I don't particularly love any second baseman or catchers. So that's kind of what I'm doing last. And if I have to punt it, I'll just punt it. And I didn't mention Schwarber in that mid-tier as a pivot off of those Blue Jays guys.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the stacks. Good amount of games, good amount of teams. I mean, we talked about the Blue Jays game.
So I think the both sides of that Blue Jays Phillies game and the Coors Field game are kind of the first step of obvious chalk. Followed by Yankees and Red Sox, and then Houston, and then Washington. I would put right there with those teams. That's kind of the big upper tier of chalk. But you see, it's such a big upper tier. It can't all be chalky, and I think it gets spread out enough, other than maybe Toronto, that I don't really think you have to make your decisions based around ownership. The team that's out of that list that I like the best would be the Angels. That was even before I knew Rendon was back. Let's see if I can get him in now. I don't think I can switch Stanton to Rendon, but that's what I'm going to try to do.
Okay.
Different teams, different positions, different prices. Otherwise, it'll be a perfect swap.
All right. Final question I'd like to ask: is there a guy that you are most overweight on the field on here?
There's a few. I'm going to say Mike Trout.
Seems a good one.
Yeah. Anytime you can get him and he's not super mega chalk, especially against Nick Pivetta, I think you do it.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay. We're going to take some baseball questions here from both chats, but we're going to hold off on that in a bit. Both chats being the YouTube chat and the Discord chat. But we got to talk some hoops first. So if you have baseball questions, hold on to them. We will get to those before lock. Meansy, you're crazy eyeing right now. You're doing crazy eyes. Did something else happen? Baby, really? We're getting there.
Yeah. I think the best way to epitomize, or not epitomize, whatever. The best way to encapsulate the slate is to show raw points. Let's look at DK. We have 4 guys that are above the 50-point threshold. That's it. 1 guy in 40s, and then everyone else is 39 and below. So there's going to be a ton of good values, but you have to parse through the values and figure out where to spend, because anybody can find a 3K guy that is going to be a good point per dollar play, but you have to mesh it together. So
it's one of these cases where a 3K guy that could get you 25 points is usually a lot better than a 5K guy that can get you 30 points. But in this case, maybe not.
Now we want the 3K guys who can get us 30 points.
Oh,
we got to find those guys, and they're going to be a fair amount of them, I think. So it's actually we'll talk through some situations burying the lead here. Russ is the easiest one. Like, thank God he's on the slate.
Right.
Because, I mean, I would have no idea what to do after that. And he's so expensive that it, like, helps. You're like, okay, I can play a couple more 3K guys now.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll just use that to, like, launch in. And that and point guard is kind of where it all starts, especially on FanDuel, because, like, this morning I had Jordan Poole tagged with Russ, but that was before all the Clippers news hit, all the Grizzlies news hit, I'm sure I'm forgetting something else news hit. So yeah, he's like a really good play, and he's the second or the third best point per dollar or RG value on the slate on FanDuel. But FanDuel's pricing is even looser than DraftKings, so you really got to figure out the spin. So, like, generally speaking, for this for cash game formats, so keep that in mind as you're building out tournament stuff. But generally speaking, what I've been doing with FanDuel builds for cash games has been Luka and Russ at point guard, spending up at center for maybe Jokic or Embiid. And we'll talk about why they're not exactly like clear must plays. Actually, I'll just talk about it now. Jokic pretty clearly wants to play every game this year. Like, he's going to be the MVP in a season where everybody has been out, basically. It's probably a little, notch on the belt that he's going to play all the games and get MVP. We talked about last night. We don't know if Malone's going to, like, just run him out normally. He played 32 minutes, which is exactly what we projected him for last night. Are they going to do that again tonight? I have no idea. We have him projected for 32 minutes. Again, I said this last night. I don't think they're going to put him out there for minutes that will hurt his overall stats. He's having, like, a record year. Like, would they just play him for one half and then that, like, hurts his averages? So, like, they at least got to let him play. I know that's, like,
stuff that shouldn't matter, but it does matter.
Yes, exactly. And we're talking about the history of the league here. So, like, it should matter, I think.
Yeah.
So that's why I think, yeah, he probably plays 32 minutes, but I can't say that for sure. And then Embiid, who the hell knows, man? Like, he played awful last night. Yeah, we didn't even think he was going to play until he showed up in Miami. And then, so, I mean, the matchup's good. Yeah, showed up. He physically showed up. That's about it. Yeah. I think he had 11 fantasy points. So, like, that's basically it. So, so I'm paying up at the 2-point guard spots, and I'm paying up at center. I think that is the best build. Like, obviously, you're going to have very good cheap plays at center, but you're going to have really, really good cheap plays at shooting guard, small forward, and power forward. So I'll just, like, put in, since what's Embiid? He's how much cheaper is he? He is 1,000 cheaper than Jokic. So I'll just put him in for the build. So let's go back to point guard. And I want to look at ownership because, so Russ and Luka are the two best, the two highest owned guys at point guard. So now we have guys who are really, really good plays. Jordan Poole, 5K, 45-point ceiling. Malachi Flynn played 41 minutes last night, 5.6, 48-point ceiling. So, like, if you can maybe lose one of these expensive guys, and you got to win the other positions. That's not going to be easy, but it's possible. So yeah, don't have to go too far off the map here to get different at point guard on FanDuel. Shooting guard, Melton. So the Grizzlies have, what do we? I think 9, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 9 guys. All of them are cheap. So Melton, and they're thin on guard. So Melton's going to be a really good option. Kennard is going to be a really good option. The Clippers are without 4 of their main rotation players, 2 of them being their best players. No Reggie Jackson also. So official word on Ingram and Adams yet, but he's someone there you should feel comfortable about his minutes, and he's 6'2". So you're like, 6'2" for Nikhil, but it's a way to get a lot of minutes and a lot of production. Mm-hmm. So I think he's a great tournament play, even though I hate seeing the fact that, I don't know, I'm pretty sure ownership has not been updated. I think there's a tech issue, if I'm correct on that, when I was looking in a Slack channel, because Melton is very clearly the best play here at shooting guard, and we haven't projected for a 1% ownership. So I'm almost positive this ownership has not been updated yet. So keep that in mind. So when I saw Nikhil with the highest ownership there, I'm pretty sure that is not going to be the case. Like, it's going to be Melton. And I don't know when that will be updated, but keep that in mind. So yeah, that makes me like him even more. Kyrie Thomas, the same thing. Buddy, there's a chance they could sit Buddy because they're officially eliminated, but those are good ways to spin to be different. Colin Sexton, probably, even though Jetty's back and Garland's back, still, like, you're looking for guys that can get you 45, 50 FanDuel points. I think he's one of them. So if that's like, you're looking for like stuff like that, if you're going to go off Luka at point guard to a Poole or a Flynn, then you want to find the guy out of one of these other positions. And then these are some of the guys at the other positions. Let's go to small forward. So for cash games, I do like going cheap here. Stanley the Manly, who I think I played him, let's say I played him 10 times in my DFS career. I think he's scored total 27 fantasy points. And he had 63 FanDuel points last night. So that was fun. Thanks, Stanley. So he's an option in cash games. Justice Winslow is an option I want to bring up too. If they start him, his projection is going to go way up. We have him at 20 minutes because we have him coming off the bench. He has not been playing lately. So there's two trains of thought here, if that's the right way to say it. They could say, all right, well, you're kind of out of the rotation. Let's just use this as a game to get you some minutes. Or they can just leave him out of the rotation and they just, maybe he's hurt and they're not saying it. I don't know. But if he starts, he's going to be a really, really good play on both sides.
Who is this?
Justice Winslow.
Okay.
And for the record, they have the Grizzlies and Warriors. They're not playing each other tonight. They play each other Sunday. Whatever happens in their games tonight means literally nothing for seeding purposes. When they play on Sunday, the winner gets the 8, the loser gets the 9, which is a huge deal for the play-in tournament. If you're in the 7-8 game, you only have to win once to make the playoffs. Right. If you're in the 9-10 game, you have to win twice to make the playoffs. So it's relevant for tonight though, and that's why they're resting everybody. Tournaments, I kind of feel I'm unsure what to. I guess I didn't go past those guys, but obviously Bazemore here is looking good. Mulder is looking good if he plays. He's still Q. Sadiq Bay's all right as a way to spend some money too. I'm having a really hard time parsing through tournament stuff now because I'm not certain what the correct projected ownership is. So I don't think I want to spend too much time on it because I do think the very most popular build will be what I said. 2 expensive point guards, expensive center, and then figure it out from there. Dogs went crazy upstairs. I guess they didn't like my popular construction take. So I don't want to go too deep into tournaments. You can obviously get good plays at these other positions just because it's good. I think it's going to be clear on FanDuel. DK will talk about, but yeah, because here, yeah. So Tillman is the best play by far. Just the ownership hasn't updated yet. So moving to power forward, I think it's Tillman for sure. I haven't tagged. Marcus Morris, I think, is probably one of the other options with Juan Toscano Anderson. I think it's going to be Juan Toscano Anderson for me as the other guy. And again, I've said this every time the Clippers have rested a bunch of people. Be careful on Marcus Morris. They've done it at least twice where they rule out a bunch of guys early and then later in the day, like, oh yeah, Marcus Morris is out too. So be careful. That game is 2 hours after lock. So that's generally the pool for me. I would not play Tilly in cash games personally. So great tournament play, and Gillespie, great tournament play. And then when you look at the spin ups, all right. So I mentioned Luka as one of the spin ups at point guard. They are playing for something. They are still playing for seeding. This game is important tonight for them, but they're 14-point favorites. so you assume that they're going to play as much as they are needed, but at least you're playing for it. At least you're rostering guys who have something that's meaningful. So that's why I bring that up with Porzingis because he's only 6'8". If you're looking for guys who could get you 50 tonight, Porzingis is one of them. So he's a good, really, really good tournament play on FanDuel, I think. If you maybe you just eat the rush chalk and then you take Luka out and play Porzingis instead, spend up for Nikhil at shooting guard, stuff like that. All right, center. I talked about it for optimal builds with one of the 2 expensive guys. I want to talk about the Raptors also because as you see, Boucher is popping. Last night was I can't cuss on YouTube, I don't think. It was a bleep show. So Boucher was out the night before, gets the midday upgrade to questionable. And then, the pregame media say, oh, he's available tonight. Yep, he's available. And then he doesn't play. So like why he ever got rolled in, I don't know. The difference tonight is they only have 8 guys, and Boucher is one of those 8. And also they cannot improve their tankingness. Is that a word? Tankingness. They can't they can't improve their odds.
Mhm.
So theoretically you would think that all these 8 guys should play, and they would also want to play their best players. Theoretically, I don't know. If like, so what you want, if you want to like deploy him in cash game format in any site tonight, you want to see him starting. So like for me last night, I had him in. I talked about him a lot last night on the show because I said the game before he played 37 minutes, or whatever. When he was not starting and Trent was not starting, that was a red flag for me, and I took him out. And I untagged Trent on FanDuel too. I don't know if people saw it in time or if it helped at all, but so if you see him starting tonight, I would feel really good about him in tournaments. And if you happen to land there in cash game, sure, but probably you wouldn't want to do that. Tournament, it's like if you go cheap with like Jahlil Okafor, like this dude was a really, really good per minute player back in the day. I don't know what his minutes upside will be, but they have no Plumlee and no Stewart tonight. If you're looking for guys who can get you 50, Rudy Gobert, Jared Allen, like these are some spend ups you can get a little different than the build I've been talking about. So that in general is FanDuel. I'm going to take a sip of this nice little wine I got here before DK.
You got a fancy wine because it's the last night of NBA DFS. How good is that?
It's good. It's a Hill Estate wine in Napa.
That sound I don't.
One
I
of my
have
favorite
no idea what
wineries.
that means, but yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds lovely.
yeah, it's
All
really
right,
good.
Let's talk about DK. I like to get, if you just get a good $7 bottle and then put it in the fridge and get it real cold, it just tastes like grapefruit juice going down. It's delicious.
It is truly remarkable we are friends. You don't like The Office. You're chilling red wine at costs $7.
Yeah.
Warhols and war balls and whatever those things are in the ocean with spikes coming out of their
narwhal.
head.
It's a narwhal.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Like, yeah. I'm just not as classy as you, man. All right, let's talk about this DK build.
All right. So I only kept it at 2 guys, but there's a very, very small Jordan pool of players that I want to choose from in cash games. And I did, and the next guy in, honestly, for me has been Luka for reasons I mentioned before. I didn't tag him because you can make it if Jokic, like if you tell me Jokic for sure gets 32 minutes tonight, maybe it's him instead of Luka. But I think Luka is just safer, even with the blowout risk. So like Luka has been the next guy in for me.
Yeah.
And I'll plug him in a little bit, but I just want to go through real quick. I'm not going to like build out my lineup necessarily yet, but I'm going to go through real quick the few guys I'm looking at. I want to start at small forward because this is probably better.
Mm-hmm.
So like for me, the 2 guys I'm deciding between for small forward are Luke Kennard and Justice Winslow if he starts. I know I want to go cheap there. And the fact that Luke Kennard has small forward eligibility is big.
Yeah.
So that's basically the next guy I'm putting in. I'm putting in one of those 2 guys for cash games. So then power forward. I'm almost certainly playing Juan Toscano Anderson as the power forward. So you're going to be able to find maybe better strictly point per dollar values, but he's like a really good per dollar play. And he's also at least a little bit of your salary. You know, he's 5K. He's not this like full on punt. We know we got to spend. He's a really good play. The position's not great. Like the best values are in like the cheap guards. So I feel really good about him being the next guy. Eric Paschall is going to really pop. And he has not played since like April 2nd. And I've seen some crazy numbers on him today. And there's just no way I'm playing him in cash games. I think he's great for tournaments, but like we haven't, maybe I should take that back. We have him at 21%. The guy's burned as chalk so many times and he hasn't played in a month and a half. Like, I don't even know how many minutes they're going to play him. So there's no way I'd play him in cash games, but the dude could just absolutely drop 40 DK points because he can do a lot.
Yeah. But
I just can't play that in cash games. So that's what I'm doing power forward. Juan Toscano Anderson. Then center, I've put Juan Toscano has been in some of my builds. I put like I've put JaVale McGee. I'm sorry, Jahlil Okafor. I can say that tonight because Ja Morant's out, so I can say Ja.
You can
and not confuse everybody.
All right,
technically. I've had Boucher in a couple builds as like the second and a half spend up after Russ and Luka, if he starts, I would think I would feel comfortable playing him if he starts. That just means he's going to play. And I mean, it could go wrong, but a lot of stuff can go wrong tonight. So I might as well play a guy who can give me 50. Yeah. So it's generally speaking, it's Boucher, Juan Toscano Anderson. If you go somewhere else at power forward, it's going cheap with JaVale McGee. It's going cheap with Xavier Tillman. Cheap with Jaleel Okafor. So now let's circle back to both guard spots, and I'll talk tournaments here in a second. But now we circle back to both guards. This might be something where Frazier and Winslow's minutes are very, very uncertain, depending on who they want to give these minutes to. I think they're going to get a lot of the guard minutes to Tyus and Melton, the 1 and the 2. So I'm not as high as our projections are in Frazier, but I really like him for tournaments because he's playing on a team with 8 or 9 guys. So Melton and Tyus, those are the 2 ones I want to point out. Those guys are just, I mean, you could easily go guard, utility, put those guys in, like without question. Just 2 of my favorite plays on the slate. Really good matchup. Sacramento's still one of the worst defenses in the league. So those are the guys I wanted to point out for cash game purposes, and Justice if he is starting. So let's go to small forward, power forward real quick and just see if I looked over anybody like Metu, Bazemore. I actually had a build that landed on Kenyon Martin Jr., which is just absolutely wild to say considering he's 7K. But he's one of the few guys left that they just give him all the minutes. Look at this: 44, 39, 39, 39, 37. And the fantasy points follow. It's like, if you land there and he's one of your second and a half spin, roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really it, I guess. And then I'm not going to go through all of the guys who are going to be good for tournaments. Like I don't even want to take a stance on Russ. I would just play him. He's the surest thing to 60 fantasy points on a slate that might not have anyone else score 60 fantasy points. So I probably would just eat it, but I'm not the guy you should ask advice for in like huge, large field GPP. So I'm a chalk donkey. What can I say? So yeah, just like if you don't play Luka, play Embiid, or don't play Luka, play Jokic. Don't play some of these popular 3K guys. Just go with a more balanced approach with Russ. Like there's all sorts of different things you can do, because I think the cheap Memphis guards, Poole, Juan Toscano is probably gonna be pretty popular. Russ is gonna be obviously really popular. Like there's so many good ways to get away from it that you can choose to do so if you want. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Excellent stuff. We will take some questions, and Devin, I might need you at some point to jump in just so I can make sure I'm all set up for the show that comes after the show. But in the meantime, let's start with GD. We got some hoops questions coming in. He says, DKGPP, you want Flynn or Nall?
I think Nall has a higher ceiling, so I would go with Nall.
Okay. And by the way, I'm going to be taking questions from the Discord and from the YouTube chat. So if you're in either, fire off your questions. I'm going to take basketball and MLB questions. So pepper us with
That's
whatever
good.
you want. That's so tasty, huh?
That's so good.
A little chill. If you just get a little cold, it'll be even better. DKGVP, Healed Olynyk or Sexton?
Not Olynyk. I didn't mention it when I talked about Martin, but I'm pretty sure they want to keep his minutes in check. Like he only played 25 minutes last game, and it wasn't because of blowout. It wasn't because of foul trouble. So don't do Olynyk. Who are the other? Healed and who?
It was Healed, Olynyk, Sexton.
I think I'm going to say Healed, but make sure he plays. And that game starts 2 hours after the slate locks. It's like there's been no like reporting that says he might not play. It's just they literally got eliminated just recently after their last game. So
yeah.
If he plays, he's going to be fine because they're without everybody basically, except for him and DeLon. So yeah, make sure he plays. And then that's your call, because Cleveland starts in 10 minutes. So it's either Sexton or Healed. You're calling your risk tolerance.
Okay, great. JR Mitch says, Means, can you talk about how to react in DK Cash if Bobby Boucher isn't starting?
Pretty easily. I mean, just play one of these other mid-tier-ish guys like Martin. Nikhil's another good one. I would even play like Flynn. He's fine. That game starts 2 hours after lock. He played 41 minutes last night. They have 8 guys. So I'm just looking down. Actually, let me just sort here by like fantasy points and see if anyone pops out. Yeah, I think it would probably be Martin or Nah would be the guys that I just think are maybe are overpaying a little bit, but who cares on this slate? So like those would be the two guys I'd look to pivot to.
All right. We'll go to Tro, Melton or Tillman, DK Cash.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Well, I was the one who called. I mixed the two names and called them Milton, but it's Melton or Tillman in DK Cash.
I like that's a good question. That's close, man. I like Melton a little bit more though.
All right. Timmy Tebow says, is Melton and Jones okay in the same lineup in DK Cash?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Encouraged even.
Nice. Mango Man says FanDuel GPP, Tyus or Russ?
Oh no. Is someone trolling me on purpose?
That's
a
all
okay.
All right. But I guess it's the
Okay, no, I'll answer.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it just depends on what you want to do with the ownership. Russ is projected for 67% ownership on FanDuel. If you think he's in the winning lineup, play him. If you want, you can play him and Tyus and take Luka out or something and go pay up elsewhere. It's definitely not just a discussion about those two guys.
Yeah. All right. BHB says DK Cash, Metu or Tillman?
I gotta go Tillman on that one now.
There's just going to be a million of these cheap guy versus cheap guy questions because there's a million.
I'm looking forward to
good
them.
cheap guy. Yeah. So prepare yourself. Morning Napalm says, is MPJ in play in GPPs or are you too worried about the minutes?
He's in play just because even if he plays 25, 30, he can still get you a good raw score. So he's in play and he rested last night. We're not certain he's just like not going to play that much. So I could see him playing like the same Jokic play. Like I could see him playing 32 like Jokic played last night. That would do on this slate.
Yep. All right. SF Bay says DK Cash, Melton Jokic or Tillman Luka?
I think it's Melton Luka.
That's what I
if it's a positional thing or somehow a salary thing, then I would still do the Luka one.
Okay. I think they're just kind of trying to spend all their money, maybe.
Yeah, you definitely don't leave 1,000 on the table, but if you leave like 500 or something, that's fine in cash.
Yeah. Will says DK Cash, is Jared Allen okay if Baba Boucher isn't starting?
Yeah, but the Cavs starting 7 minutes and the Raptors starting 2 hours, so you're probably not going to know.
Gotcha. All right. Morning Napalm says Bay or Jetty in a GPP?
I'd go Bay. Bay.
Hey, bye. Mellow Rose, FanDuel, small forward GPP, 4K and under, please.
You got it. Let's look real quick. 4K and under. 4K and under. Oh my, these are some crazy ceiling projections. I'm going Mulder.
Okay. Devin, would you be able to jump in real quick? I gotta find a punch in a join.me. Thank you.
All right. So that was Bay or Chetty, correct?
Yep.
All right. Mellow Rose, FanDuel small forward, GPP, 4K and under.
That's the one.
That's the one we got to. All right.
Yeah.
Timmy Tebow, DK Cash, already have Tyus, Melton or Tillman?
Melton, and congrats on your contract with the Jags.
DK Cash, 6.6K last piece. Boucher?
Yeah. I have him in like a placeholder lineup, and hopefully that's like your util. If you can work it out to be your util, just looking at the games. So Toronto starts at 9 Eastern. I think this is the move for everybody if they want it. Now that I look at this a little more, I think the move is to put in Boucher, and then if he's not starting, then just switch it to Nikhil, who's in the latest game of the night. I think that's the move now that I look at it.
I love that you said if they want it. No, I don't think we do. All right. Cujo wants to know DK tournament, Metu or Tillman?
Let me look at the ownership on that one. If it's, yes, I don't know. This might be I gotta let me refresh really quick and see if this changed because Tillman was not showing the correct number earlier. I don't think. Let's see here. Yeah, I still think it's Metu. I think Tillman's going to be chalkier.
All right, related question from YouTube chat. Yaz's Army. DK single entry, Wade, Metu, and Tillman. Pick two.
Pick two? I don't think Wade has the ceiling. I don't want to say that, but if it's mine, I would just go Metu and Tillman.
All right. MHD, can we just play Russ for DK tournaments in the first game and worry about the rest later?
Yeah, that's a good point. I should have pointed this out when I saw all these timing of the games. The Cavs Wizards start in 4 minutes, and the rest of the games, the next game doesn't start till 8. So you have an hour for news to break if you're on the fence of something. It's like we may even get Raptors news before that 8 o'clock game starts. So yeah, if you just want to lock in Russ and chill, I'm on board with that for sure.
All right, just about 3 minutes left, probably a little bit less than that when you're hearing this, so get
Westbrook
your
and
lineups
chill.
in. FanDuel Cash in bad wants to know. No, I had to. Toscano Anderson or Sexton Morris?
Yeah, just go. I think Toscano Anderson is the far better route there.
I got you back. Thank you, Devin. I appreciate that. All right, we'll go to Jansen's from there. FanDuel GPP. Desmond Bain, last piece.
Sure.
Carolina guy, FanDuel GPP. We spending up at both the point guard spot and also center. So basically, I'm sorry, are we spending up in both point guard spots and also center is likely what he meant.
I would not. That's probably going to be the popular construction. So I would pick at least one of those spots and get different.
Gotcha. Yappy says, are you going back to Terrence Davis today? Seems like the same situation as Martin and Houston with him in a GPP.
And a GPP, sure. Especially if you get the random Buddy Hields out, his projection will go up.
All right. Jumping on over here to the old, see if there's any YouTube questions coming in that we can hit. And it looks like we've done pretty good over there. Let's see. All right. Is Bertand okay in a single entry GPP?
Yep.
Bertans, I guess. That's probably an autocorrect there.
Yes, he's good. Yes, yep. He's good. Yep.
He's good. Okay, I can't see you.
Yep.
And all right,
Can't see me.
I can't.
Roth is having some old man technology problems.
I have 92 screens up trying to take questions from all these different places. DKGPP, your favorite higher end GPP play? I'm rolling Sexton right now.
I'm fine with it. Not enthused that those guys are back. I think it might be like Kenyon Martin Jr. Maybe just roll with him and hope he gets you 45 or something. That'll do.
All right, about a minute till NBA lock. D-Dot says, FanDuel GPPs, what are your thoughts on Serge Ibaka?
I could see it, but this is his first game back if he even plays. So I think you have higher ceilings elsewhere, but he's the bare man. So I don't know.
Straw, DK Cash, Melton, or Poole?
If you have that, you're for sure playing Poole. I think you should play both of them personally.
Okay, great. Baze or Stanley Johnson in a FanDuel GPP?
Probably Stanley.
All right, coming up on the lock here for Hoops. Cheese has been just patiently standing by as we talked hoops.
She's been
I
cramming.
assure you, I'm not patient about anything. But I'm here.
Okay, someone asked, I love when they come with the weather questions. How's the weather in the Toronto Philly game? Is it still hitters weather? Yeah, I see no reason why it wouldn't be. Yes. Secret says DK Cash, who are we picking from the Aces and what's the top offense? Thank you.
I'm picking Glass now from the Aces. I would say Toronto.
Great. Jay Frey says, can you ask Cheese, am I crazy? I played Peterson and Arrieta.
Yes.
Cheese, did you finish your stuff? Do you want me to take questions? I
No,
looked at the baseball.
No,
You good?
I'm good. Yeah.
All right.
I would say
Looks like
yes.
you're still
Yes,
working.
crazy to Peterson area.
Okay. More Noron says, what are your thoughts on Smiley?
Totally viable large field tournament. Assume it's more likely that he hurts you, but that weird little upside is in there. I just prefer Scooball for cheaper. They're like similar upside with risk guys.
Gotcha. All right. Jay says DK single entry, a better one-off, Soto or Harper?
I like both. I would say Soto.
Great. Gypsy FanDuel Cash question for you, Cheese. Sanchez Trout or Naquin Teoscar?
Naquin Teoscar.
FanDuel Util Cash from NBA DFS. This is a baseball question, though. C-Joe or BGO?
Played Joe in cash.
Deuteronomy, great name. Are Mets lefties a full fade even for large field GPPs versus the Glass Man?
No. They can always get him out in 5 innings too and have half a game against the bullpen.
All right. FanDuel Cash, Sanchez, Biggio, or Hampson Gurriel?
Sanchez, Biggio.
Epignosis just drop in the stat. I will read it and then let you react to that. It says Scherzer versus the current Arizona lineup, a .165 average and a 28% K rate.
That's neither good nor bad nor otherwise. Like,
That's not good. That sounds good.
No, it
it's
is.
not good.
It is good, but it's not great. I mean, it's Scherzer 28% strikeouts. I mean, you expect more than that anyway. And you don't expect anyone to have a good batting average against him. I mean, yeah, it's good, but it's Max Scherzer. I don't know. That doesn't teach me anything.
All right. Well, I was just curious. It taught me something because I read that and thought, "Wow, that's amazing." But apparently,
But it's Max Scherzer against Arizona. Like,
sure,
it would be weird if it wasn't amazing.
I see. All right. Gypsy coming in with a couple questions. FanDuel Cash, Moose or Vladdy?
Ooh, Vlad.
This was a trio of questions, actually. All right. It was FanDuel Cash, Moose or Vladdy, Story or Trout.
Trout.
And then FanDuel Cash, Kellenic, Tellez, Gurriel Jr.
Kellenic.
Go with the kid.
Yeah, I would.
Go with the kid. Go with Kellenic. Kellenic's got speed on the bases, got a little bit of pop.
You know.
You're regurgitating what was talked about last night.
Yeah, I'm not dumb. BHB says DK Cash, Fuentes and Otani or Biggio and Grichuk?
Fuentes, Otani.
Morin Norin says Upton or Haniger in a GPP?
Upton, but like them both.
All right. Jay says, all right, Cheese, I'm in the 550. Oh, this is fun. I'm in the 555 on DK. What is your very best stack to be a little bit different? Not crazy, but just different.
Oh, it's definitely the Angels, and it'll be you and me up there.
Wait, say that again?
The Angels.
Oh, okay.
And then it will be you and me up there, is what I said, because that's who I'm playing as my different stack.
Ah, I thought you meant you and me, and I was like, I have
You're not
no idea what you're talking about, man. That makes more sense. We've got about a minute here until lock. Guys, once we hit baseball lock, don't go anywhere. In fact, download the Big Brain app because the fun is just starting at that point.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little narwhal talk and then some trivia.
Yeah. Last time we lost a lot of people with the narwhal talk, I think, but we're gonna.
You did. One is also sitting right here in this chair.
More questions, or are we good?
We're actually these have been all of the questions here. I'm scanning. There still might be a few more coming in, but we shall see. FanDuel Cash from Gypsy. Frasier Soto or Biggio Teoscar?
Yeah, Frazier Soto. So many good choices. Like, it's one of the you can't go wrong with any of these either ors because there's so many good offenses.
Okay. We've got a couple people typing in a question. If you're over on the YouTube chat, smash that like and subscribe button because this is free content. And the free content's only getting better from here. So hold on. That is the lock. Okay.
I see M. Hampton came back for some more smoke this week. He wants to smoke in sports terminology.
Hampton came second in the Duke one, right?
Yeah, he wants to smoke again.
I'm just trying to figure out what the question will be, where the answer will be jabroni, because obviously that's a sports
professional wrestling's a sport.
Yeah.
And it's it's related to musings. Now there should be a musings question in there.
Mm-hmm.
True. So guys, if you think that you know a thing or two about sports and perhaps sports terminology, this is the part of the show for you, because in exactly 24 and a half minutes, we are going to do a sports trivia contest on the Big Brain app. So first, download the Big Brain app. The rest of it's honestly pretty self-explanatory, but you do get a 100% deposit on your first $50 in. This is a $10 tournament. You're going to be going against me, and I'm a donkey. So that's one person down. And it should just be fun. I'm excited to play against you guys.
My heart rate when that contest started last week was embarrassingly high. Like, it was just
See, you had the pressure though.
Yeah,
Like
the
you
whole
were supposed
company
know.
is
to
not
win.
on the line tonight for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like it was embarrassingly high. I was like, my heart was pounding on my chest. I almost like had to turn the camera off and go walk around for a second.
Yeah, but you were just like you were defending your home court advantage and your honor as a Dookie, really.
I did well though, I think.
You did. You did. You held serve, but in sports terminology, you held serve. I'm gonna crush
Oh, that
this.
could be in there. That could be
Yeah.
in there.
This time though, it's me running the screen share, and not only am I worried that I'm gonna make an ass out of myself, I'm also worried that I'm gonna mess up the technology behind this.
Yeah,
So
you and Devin take us 90 seconds and figure that out. I'm gonna ask Cheese some questions about his DFS process.
okay, I like it. You guys talk DFS. Devin, you hit me with the screen share, and we'll get this happening.
So my question for hold on, I need to okay, you guys took my stuff way good. My question for Cheese is, let's say today was a pretty big slate. When you sat down for the first time at your computer, whether that was last night or this morning, how long does it take you to like hit submit on your musings?
4 or 5 hours.
Whew. I hope everyone knows how good they have it if they subscribe to your Rotogrinders and read your article. It's like, I kid you not. And when we were on the show like a month or so ago, and you like said that thing about baseball projections, because I've always been, I come from the NBA side of things, and projections are very, very important to me to like get you to the right spot. When you said that, when Roth asked you that question about projections, and you had that example for two guys who one's projected for 12 and one's projected for 13, and you gave that example, it like literally blew my mind, where I don't treat projections as seriously as I used to. I feel like that actually is can you like repeat that for people who are still watching? Can you repeat what you said about that? Because I think it's like a really, really low-key good nugget.
Well, it's especially important when you're comparing to basketball. If you're coming from being an NBA DFS player, like you need to forget everything you know. Like, so if you have one guy projected for 22 points and one guy projected for 24, like they're both going to finish between like 18 and 30 points. And you can figure, the guy 24 is kind of pretty likely to be outscore the guy projected for 22. Baseball, if you have one guy projected at 13 and one guy projected at 12, on any given day, one of those guys is going to score 0 and one's going to score 30. And the guy projected for 13 is no more likely to hit the 30 than the guy projected for 12. Like neither of them are going to be anywhere near the 12 or the 13. You're being silly to think that guy at 13 is better than the guy at 12.
Yeah.
It's if you play that slate 1,000 times, the guy projected for 13 will have more total points than the guy projected for 12. But even more than that, the guy projected for 13 may not outscore the guy projected for 12 a majority of the time. It may be, is it one guy's going to have, if you're doing 1,000 games, one guy has 200 huge games and the other guy outscores him 800 times. That's a situation in some of these. Like the projections are so wildly huge. I don't think people always realize what they're looking at when they say, "Oh, this guy's better because he's projected for 1 point more."
So, because like what I've started doing is I really like. I still use projections. I'm sure you do too. Like I really like Cardi's product, the bat. So like what I do when I'm doing my baseball research is I pull up your article and I have your article on one screen. I have Cardi's projections on another screen, and I listen. I like absorb what you say while I'm looking at the projection. I say, okay, well, let's see what the projections say. And then I see what kind of point you make as to why this, like, for instance, tonight, like Glasnow and Kershaw, like, I'm pretty sure Kershaw had a better projection for him, raw points, than Glasnow did. And sometimes I go with that projection. Sometimes I go with what you say. But I think if you're not, what I'm saying is if you're not mixing in like your content, especially two projections, I think you're starting from behind.
One of my favorite things to find is those days when I like a guy that seems off the radar and the bat also likes him, and I know we're coming from two different angles. Like that's my all-in day. Because I absolutely trust those projections for what they do. It's just what they do is not to nail down a number. Like it's but it does bake in a lot of stuff. I'm not at all anti-projections, and certainly when I build 150 lineups, obviously I'm using projections at some point.
Has that ever, in this day and age, does that ever happen where the bat likes someone and you like someone and they're overlooked?
It's happened very rarely, but occasionally.
Yeah.
Last year it still happened.
Yeah.
This year I think it's getting rarer and rarer.
Yeah. Roth, you all set up over there?
Actually, somehow magically we did it. And I'm looking at the competition here, and I think maybe Devin might have that screen share up now. And look, we've got 2 level 9s. We've got a level 6, a bunch of level 3s. We've got a guy named Meansy who's a level 2.
How'd that level 9 go for thick last week?
Person
Not very well.
Thick. Whooped him. A level 9 in here yesterday. Last week, whooped him. But I don't know. This is a more general topic, so I'm a little worried about this one. But I do see some familiar names. We got NYG fan. We got Hampton in here. A few others. We got Cheese, of course, in here as well. So, guys, if you want to partake in this, this starts here at the half hour. So at the bottom of the hour, 6:30 Central is when the contest starts. It is sports terminology on Big Brain. And if you don't know what Big Brain is, if you missed it off the top, what's up?
Go ahead. Go with that. Go with that first, and I'll say something.
Yeah. If you miss what it is, it's basically just kind of trivia, only with the DFS slant, where you have an entry fee and you can put it in like 50-50s or tournament lineup, and they ask you questions, and you got to, answer it relatively fast and correctly.
Aaron Judge Homer. See, and we have twice as much Judge because of Stanton out. So
let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, Cheese.
Yeah, me and
core play for Cheese.
Actually, not everybody else. It's going to be spread out. This is good.
Nice.
Good start.
Did I lock it? No, I didn't lock. Did I lock it?
You did something, Roth.
Well, here's the issue. I just got to hold my. You're telling me my phone just automatically. It doesn't stay awake forever. Do I just constantly have to do this to it to keep it alive the whole time?
Go in the settings, dude. Go in the settings.
I mean, you guys are really.
And now we're gonna see your gross little apps you got on your home screen. Okay, good.
Gross little apps.
I don't know. Maybe you got Tinder on there, and your wife's like, "What?" And she's sitting in another room playing. Why has he got Tinder on here?
No Tinder, no gross little apps at all. Mostly just a bunch of sports betting apps.
So,
okay.
What I was going to say.
Yeah.
If you have something else, what I'm going to say is not important at all. So
no, I have nothing else to say. I now have to spend 15 more minutes trying to get back up the screen share so you guys can talk amongst yourselves.
I was going to see if Cheese and I could come up with our fake questions for our respective sports. Like, what would be a question in this contest tonight? Like, what is a baseball sports terminology question you can make up?
Yeah, I wonder how in depth they'll be. Like, are these meant for serious sports fans? Or like, if it's kind of casual fans, it would be like, can of corn or something like that.
That's a good one.
That's a tough one.
Let's go over those. Let's help everybody.
Yeah. That's the one I would say I think is kind of the right mix of you've heard it, but some people may not know what it is.
Yeah.
Is a can of corn like a lazy fly ball in the right field?
Yeah. It's like an easy fly ball out. Yeah.
Ooh.
How about
a
frozen rope?
Hey.
Frozen rope is a good baseball.
That's what Judge just hit.
Yeah. Pull the joint up me up again, for son of a monkey's uncle.
We got an Ohtani double already. It's going to be a good night, folks.
All right, you guys get chit chat. Oh, we're good. We got it, ladies and gentlemen. We got it. We got it back.
I'm looking like a genius for my read Cheese's article and then mix in the bat projections. Got some Judge and Ohtani. Let's go.
Whew. See, this is all you have to do. You don't have to be good at the sport. You just have to know how to use the free advice that's out there, or the good advice from guys like Cheese, and boom, suddenly you're good at the sport. That's why
I'm actually after I get first place tonight in this Big Brain tournament, I'm going to actually just move my services over to Big Brain and just become a trivia tout.
I think it'd be pretty fun to make the questions.
Yeah. If you can win again, I would be very, very impressed. I think this is not exactly Duke basketball. We're not exactly just handing it to you anymore. You got to earn this one, Means.
Guys, Tariq Skubal, 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 first. That's big for the random cheap guy on DK.
Oh, that's who you wanted. All right.
Yep.
We're out here doing what we're supposed to do.
Ooh, Boogie's excited.
Boogie's pumped for the Big Brain app coming up here. Do I have a random sports thing? I mean, I already gave you catching crabs for rowing.
What would be the good weather terminology that some people know and some people don't? If we were having weather term trivia.
A haboob? What is a haboob? Here's the question. What type of storm is a haboob? Is it a hurricane?
A big round one.
So a hurricane is your answer. Is it a hurricane? Is it associated with a tornado, associated with a thunderstorm, or associated with a blizzard? A haboob. Nobody knows.
Hurricane.
See?
Never heard of it though.
A haboob is a dust storm that happens when a strong thunderstorm happens in the desert Southwest. It kicks up a big wall of dust and it just becomes like, you know, that scene in The Mummy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Where like the dust kicks up and the mummy's face is in the dust.
Does that happen in a haboob with the face?
Not usually.
Okay.
No, that's for
Is the Mummy the movie with the Rock?
That's like the sequel. That was like a later version.
Yeah.
Is that movie like a jabroni?
Yes. The Brandon Fraser version is the one we were going for here. Yeah, that'd be a tough one on the weather terminology, guys. What did I hit? Lobby. All right. This contest starts in 12 minutes. We've got nearly 24 folks ready to get their whooping. And to remind everybody, if you come first or second in this tournament, and you probably, should, because you guys are sports folks. If you're sitting at home, if you're watching us,
you should be able to beat me and Roth at least.
Yes, it's very likely you will beat me. This is not my strong suit. In fact, I begrudgingly enter the $10 every Friday, knowing I am just giving it away. But if you come first or second, bottom line, if you come first or second, you get a month of free Rotogrinders Premium. If you're already a premium member, you still get a month free. If you're not a premium member, then hey, you get a month free because this is a free show. So it's just even more reason to join. And Meansy's actually not very smart, even though he went to Duke and he knows a lot about basketball. Outside of that, I think he's going to get worked.
I'm smart at making everyone think I am, though. So think about that.
That's half the battle, man. That's all you got to do. Let's see. Michael said, how long does it take to get your identity verified on Big Brain? It took like 2 seconds, I think.
Yeah. Make sure if you have your ID and take the picture, it took me, I was verified in 2 minutes.
Yeah, less than 5 minutes, I think.
There is a YouTube question. Oh, here we go. This is from Big T's Burner. Ask Cheese if he thinks Scooball is any good long-term. I think the answer is no, but I'm curious to hear
no,
his
actually the
overall
answer is definitely for sure yes. The question is whether or not he's good now. Long-term, absolutely.
Okay. There you have it. Michael said, I'm waiting to get verified. And then he said, bam, it worked. So Michael's in. Good job.
I mean, they're giving you a free $50. So like once you lose to me tonight, use that extra money to find a trivia contest that might be more apt for your skills. And then you can win some money over the weekend. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
What I like about I like this app. I haven't started playing yet, but I've been looking at it because they tell you what the category is, and you decide whether you want to play or not. And,
right.
There's some very fun-looking categories.
Right, because sometimes you go to do a trivia, and then they say things like opera of the 1930s. And you're like, well, this is useless.
I saw Super Nintendo is at 7:45 tonight, my time.
Oh,
and I was a Sega Genesis guy, so if they had Nintendo, I would maybe get in it.
They had either last night or the night before. They had Atari.
Yeah, that was definitely not Atari.
Man, I would crush Super Nintendo. That was Meansy. While you were watching shows, all I was doing was playing Super Nintendo.
Do you think I wasn't playing video games my whole childhood and growing up? I just got cut off when I got engaged.
Yes, I still play games. Haha.
I'm gonna get back in the game if you give me will you give me a PS5, please? Then I will get back in the video.
I will get you a PS5 if you game with me and come down to visit me in Texas so I can teach you how to go fishing.
See, teach me how to go fishing. I don't even know what that means. You just go sit there and hold a freaking rod in the water. Like, what does teach me?
But you get drunk while you do it. That's the part you're not understanding.
Sure. Like, how about you
really
fish
good
and I'll just sit there and get
out of the cooler.
Yeah.
Right. Take me some brewskis out there.
How is that wine treating you, Means?
I'm glad I had a heavy pour.
Yeah. It's, let's see. Yeah, you got to swish it, sniff it, look at the legs.
Don't make me go into
brightness.
my one nostril spiel like I did that one night.
Oh my God, that was so ridiculous.
It's true.
All right, guys, we've got 8 minutes here until Big Brain Contest. Sports terminology is on.
Seinfeld on Monday. Seinfeld tournament. Oh, he just got pumped. He got more excited there than when Judge homered.
That is fantastic.
What else do we have here? One for the Cubs. Young
Ooh.
adult fiction. That could be a good one for
Is
me.
that like from books or?
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Are you guys Always Sunny fans? I know Devin is. That's on Tuesday.
I like the show, but I would not do well in trivia. Like I've seen it all once, and Seinfeld I've seen 48 times.
Oh, here you go, Roth. Chefs on TV, so that's good for your British baking show that you love. You'll get one answer right.
All right, we got some people here that are jumping in. Glad
Yeah,
to
let's
see
go.
it. Devin, we have. Do we need to put in a Rotogrinders promo code over there on the Discord or in the YouTube chat? No promo needed to get your 100%. That's wonderful.
It is pretty wild how when I'm like just scrolling on this app, how it feels just like a DFS app. Like I feel like I'm on DraftKings.
I know.
It's like got the contest at the bottom. It's like my balance is up there in the upper right. Like it's just like a DFS app.
It was clearly inspired with from those.
Hey, my Rotogrinders notifications say Winslow is starting. Isn't that something you said we should be aware of?
He is going to get a hefty boost in projection now.
Man, I hope that I'm able to pivot to him. I don't want to risk.
He's got point guard and small forward eligibility, so you'll have a lot of options. And if you should have only played Russ. If you listen to me for the way you build, you should have only played Russ. So you have 40 minutes to make changes. You'll have time even after the contest is over.
Excellent. All right, good to know. Game shows. Oh, there's a current events one. That would
like DFS current events.
Yeah. No, I don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
Football is pretty general, but I know
some
about
of them are very general. Others, like this one at the bottom, is NBA MVP winners. There's only
not many lately.
Right. There's not really that many. I can just memorize them all, and then we're good. All right. So pick the order that the three of us will finish in.
I assume Roth is going to be in last. Other than that, I don't know.
I was going to say cheese me Roth. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I don't have any concept of if this is one I'll be good at or not.
Yeah. And what's kind of messed up about this whole thing is that I actually am a huge sports fan, and I actually do know a lot about sports. It's just compared to you guys, I don't. Like if this was a Jeopardy and I was just going against random nerds, I would crush the sports category. But against you two,
we are unrandom nerds is what we are.
Right.
Yeah.
It's also like you get a feel for like what kind of questions you're going to get early on.
Yeah.
So like in the last one, when the first one was a picture of Wojo, I was like, I'm going to murder this contest.
Right.
But,
and the last one, when the first question was a picture of Wojo, I thought, oh, this contest is going to murder me. I have no idea who that is. And I thought it was Bobby Hurley. So, yeah.
Bobby effing Hurley.
Yeah.
Who was my favorite player growing up, by the way.
Bobby Hurley's your favorite player?
You got a question in the Zoom chat, Roth.
I'm sorry. All right, let's see. Hey, Roth, why does thin air at elevation help the ball travel farther, but thin air due to cold weather hurts hitting distance? Oh, so you've had a little mistake in your meteorology there. It's actually cold air is dense air. It's not thin air. When things are cold, they contract. And when things heat up, they expand. And that goes for the atmospheric column as well. So when it's warm, the whole atmosphere stretches and there's less air molecules in there. So the ball is hitting less things and less resistance. And that's the same at elevation. There's just less air molecules. So the ball has less resistance as it travels. So warm air, thin atmosphere, cold air, condensed, dense atmosphere.
So the reason the ball goes further in Colorado is the exact same reason why you lose your breath when you go to Colorado and try to hike.
Exactly. There's just less air that's stopping the ball or that's getting into your lungs.
Excellent. Or not excellent, but
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man, 4 minutes. I'm getting excited.
I think I'm gonna do really well. I actually think.
Honestly, I'm definitely rooting for you. Like, I would love for you to win. I think it would
Yeah.
be glorious.
I think
I
I'm gonna
don't
do pretty
think
well.
it's going to happen, but I hope it happens.
For people who are playing for the first time, be aware. They'll show you like a picture sometimes, and you have to like it's a little more interactive than normal. It's not just a straight up word question and you answer with words.
There's
They'll show a picture,
mix.
say who is this. I mean, it probably might not happen on a sports terminology one, but just sometimes you'll have to actually type in a number.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just be aware for those little nuggets. Don't be shocked when you see that.
And you
Here's
can
why I'm
change
gonna-
your answer. Like
That's a good point.
you'll answer, they'll give you a hint, and then you can change your answer. You get fewer points if you change it, but you better to change it and get it right.
I said it last week. This is the best way to let everyone know. Whenever you went to the sports bars, I always went to like B-dubs, and they had the trivia games up on the TVs, and you got asked for your little keyboard. It's just like that. The little thing goes down, the score goes down. You can change it, and I think it's what did we have? 10 or 20 seconds for this? 10 seconds?
I think it was 20 seconds.
was
Yeah,
20.
it feels way shorter than 20.
Yeah. But the quicker you get your answer in, the more points you get.
Yeah.
Did we establish that?
Yeah, there's
Here's
a
why I'm
certain
gonna beat you.
what do you think the timing is of when the perfect score stops? 10
2
seconds?
seconds.
5 seconds?
Less.
I mean,
You
they
gotta
got to
get
give you
in-
time to read it.
Probably
Sure.
5.
Yeah. You
Five.
gotta get your
I
answer
say that
pretty
like
quick.
I know. I would make it 5 in my game.
Yeah. Means this is why I'm gonna beat you. Are you ready?
Oh, I
I am a connoisseur of all sports. How much hockey do you watch, Means?
I mean, I cross the blue line on occasion.
You...
Yeah, he does.
Oh, all right. Well, never mind. Now that I've heard that.
I was a B. This
Ooh,
is
okay,
a true
it's
story.
happening,
My
guys.
hockey knowledge comes from NHL 94 on Sega. I've literally never been beaten in a one-on-one game on
That's
NHL 94.
It's a great game. It's a great game.
Pavel
All right.
Bure, 99 speed. Oh, did we just get the alert or something?
Yeah,
Here we
it's
go.
countdown is going on. So there will be a delay between what I'm saying and what y'all are seeing. But no,
Yeah,
it
it's
should
like a
work out
15
fine.
second delay. No, it's like a 15-second delay to when it gets
Right.
sent out to everybody. And like we said last week, you're probably going to be wrong anyways. But that was actually Cheese's screen last week, so never mind.
Right.
I did respectable for
What did you finish last week, Cheese?
it wasn't super high, but I got more questions right than I got wrong.
Was there any Leitner answers? Because you were pretty
I don't think
confident
there
about
was, but I was
Adrian
surprised
Hauser.
how many of those guys I actually knew.
All right. I feel like kind of my pride is on the line here. People always think that the weatherman can't hack it in the sports world. He doesn't know anything about sports. He's just the weather guy. I'm about to inspire and impress here.
Apparently, you're a big rower.
My hands are sweating. I am getting a little nervous. Meansy, you're right. It is a little bit nerve wracking.
I'm good. I'm good now because I don't have any pressure on me now. You're feeling what I felt last week.
Yeah. One more weather question. More American
Oh,
Carolina.
Ross
I
can't.
can't do it. I'm sorry. We can get to that question later. I've only got 30 seconds. I got to get in the
He's
zone.
got to win. He's still Googling sports terms. Like,
Yeah. What sport would they say that's a wicked googly?
Google.
See, I'm gonna crush you guys.
Badminton.
I'm.
No, not badminton.
Don't tell us because that's going to be a question now.
I'm probably wrong.
I'm gonna mess you guys up in this. I feel pretty good.
That was a
about it.
commercial or on Seinfeld? Or
It was
something?
actually
No,
on
it was a
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a wicked googly. All right,
I can
starting
picture
3,
Seinfeld saying that.
2.
Okay.
Let's go.
Oh, here we go.
Let's go, baby.
Big brain. I like the little logo too.
All right,
Ooh,
first place,
130 up top
130
tonight. Let's
bucks,
go.
baby.
Let's go.
Oh, I'm so nervous. 12 questions.
It's okay, Roth. Oh, this is easy. What? God.
Okay, I got too nervous and like didn't even.
Me too.
I
It's
just
tough to start
froze.
with one you got to type in.
Yeah,
That was
I
kinda
wasn't
tough.
expecting to have to type, and I froze up.
I got it right, but I was like, then I had to
Yeah.
reread the question.
Yeah, I got 945 points on that.
I was just so excited. I knew who
You
the
gotta beat
picture
me.
was of. I was like, that's it.
Yeah, almost.
I didn't know it's
everyone
called a
got 1,000.
relay baton. I thought it was just a baton.
Okay,
That's
that's
stupid.
not a great start, guys. Everybody got
No,
1,000.
That's all right.
Except
These
us.
people are gonna. All I care is Hampton is not winning. Ooh.
I bet
I
we
have no respect if you got that
I
wrong.
bet we all got that one.
But did we all get 1,000?
I
You
hope
really,
so.
you can't mess up the read. If you have to double clutch the read,
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of screwed.
Yeah,
I
gotta
double
take your
clutched
time
the
on the
very
read.
first question on the read, and
Yeah,
that did not go
same.
well for me.
Perfect score, baby.
Yeah, I think everyone got perfect if they're watching or if they're
Okay.
playing in this
Well,
game.
I'm currently in 10th place, so suck it.
Well, there's
come on,
10
Ross.
questions
Come
left.
on, get there.
Let's go, baby.
Oh God. What?
I typed in gibberish.
That's-
No,
Actually,
wait.
I might have that one. Maybe.
I still don't even know.
I knew
Oh.
it wouldn't let me redo it. I knew it was wickets.
I put widget. That's not it.
Did anyone get that? Someone get Lizzle. Lizzle was killing last week.
Shit.
Widget.
Liz
widget.
Izzle.
So if you type something in, you're screwed. You can't change it at that point.
There's
I
a
put-
back button on.
Oh,
I put
well,
Crew K. That didn't work.
I put goalie.
How much soccer do you watch, Roth?
I did not get 1,000 points on that. I froze again.
If they're gonna include freaking cricket terminology in here, I'm just gonna exit the show and the tournament. I'm drawn
That,
dead.
by the way, if it is wicked googly, the answer is cricket. Just to let you know.
Ah. Oh man, we got a decent amount of people in this. You know how I know that? I'm in 33rd.
Jeez, where are you at?
31. Staying ahead of
29?
Maisie.
We have Duke trivia back. What?
Get out of my kitchen.
God, did not know that. And I almost hit it. Come on.
Yeah, that was my second guess. I don't know if you get points for that. I mean, you do.
What do we know what that exactly that is? I'm sure they'll tell us, but oh, I had it right. What? Their clue threw me off the scent.
I got that right and got it all the way.
I got that
Their
right
clues
halfway
said-
through and lost.
I had
1,000
it first,
points.
and then their clue
1,000
threw me
points.
off. What's
You got to
that?
know about your pickleball.
What? I thought that was a fake sport. Can of corn.
There it is. Can of corn, baby.
Actually, two of those I don't know.
I mean, Baltimore chop. I'm assuming is like when the word. That doesn't make sense either.
Wait,
Yeah,
I was wrong?
Pickles when you're in a rundown.
Yeah, pickle's a thing.
What's the Baltimore?
I don't know what Baltimore chop is.
Wait, did I misread the
Yeah.
question?
I don't know. Did you?
Which
It's
was
not-
not an,
Yeah, it's
Which
the
is
false
not
nine.
a baseball term.
I thought Baltimore chop. I never heard of that.
We need to come back to that one.
Fuck. Sorry about the F-bomb, YouTube. Please don't suspend our account for my F-bomb. Sorry.
I think I got that one.
I do too.
That was an easy one.
Yeah, kind of.
True story.
Makes sense.
True story. Before I wrecked my shoulder in college, I was actually better at volleyball than I was at basketball.
What?
Man,
I too am very good
just
at
never
volleyball.
played seriously. I was a beast at the net, dude. I was a beast.
Baltimore chop is apparently a slap bunt.
The old
I
slap.
did not know that. Do you get DFS points for that?
Absolutely.
God, I can't even get a perfect on that.
What? I didn't even understand the question. I'm very nervous and I'm not reading the questions properly.
3 of those are defenses and 1 of them's offense.
A lot of these are hard with the not, like these double
yes,
negatives.
Yeah.
it's the double negatives.
You gotta
trip me
read.
up.
You gotta read all the words. Our brains are
I'm
trained
it's
to
the
skip
nerves.
words.
Yeah.
It's so hard with the double negatives. And then they put the answer at the bottom.
I know. Putting
Right.
the answer at the bottom really got me on this one.
Because then I'm like, all right, NK,
maybe,
yeah.
maybe, and then I see it. I'm
I-
like, oh, son of
Yeah.
a.
Pancake was my favorite one. Have you ever when you pancake the volleyballs, when it's about to hit the ground, you put your hand down under it, right?
Oh, I don't know. I was going to ask. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is. And then the ball bounces up, and you technically never hit the ground, so the play's still alive.
I have no idea. I'm
pretty sure a nutmeg's when you hit it between your legs. That's all I got. What? If I switch it again on the clue, I'm gonna be so mad.
So you're telling me a jam, a bagel, and a breadstick are?
I play a ton of tennis, and bagel is the only term that has ever been used in 40,000 hours that I've played tennis.
I'm emailing support. There's no way a nutmeg isn't when you hit it between your legs going backwards, right? That's ridiculous.
Hang on. All right. 2 questions left.
Curling. Sliders sounds good. I'm hungry. my second perfect score is on. Yes.
I think I just missed one question, and that doomed me.
I think I missed several, and that doomed
me. What place are you in, Roth?
30-something, 34th.
Oh, I'm beating Roth. That's all I care
too.
about now.
That's
I'm in last.
All is fine with the world.
I just missed one question fully.
And these people always do.
It's close at the top, by the way. It's going to come down. Yeah, it's going to be close. I mean, that's obvious.
Is it? That's a great word. I'm going with that.
I still don't even know after the stinking clue.
It's an archaic term, I'll tell you that much.
Obviously, the Lady Paramount. Oh, the fist melee. I should have known. It was the old fist melee.
Turns out I need to touch up on my sports terminology.
All right, so how'd it go here? Let's see if we recognize any names. I ended up coming 34th. Where did you?
I got 21st.
27.
8 Panther 83. That's a Rotogrinders guy. Oh, Hampton got me back. Whew,
Hampton, New York Giants fan.
Thick's in here. Sorry, Thick. I didn't mean to talk trash. I don't know if you watched the show.
I don't
you're
think
not
so.
level 9, bro. Sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Man, imagine being one of the people who finished below Roth, though.
Gophers fan just said, Roth beat me. Time to go drink. Oh, man.
I love it. I'm not good at it, but I love it.
It's really fun.
Means, guys, when you say winners, if the people who came first and second in the whole tournament, if Panther and Hunter happen to be here, then reach out to Devin. If you are Panther or Hunter, reach out to Devin. You get a free month of Rotogrinders Premium. If you are someone who finished below me, you got to pay extra. All right. Well, I get to pick the category next time. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be sea creatures.
No, you don't.
Or creatures from novels.
Any kind of creatures. I think
I'm good with creatures. That's my wheelhouse. Guys, that was fun. Congratulations means on winning the.
Yeah, what do I get? I beat the three of us. I won first out of the three of us.
You're the true winner here. You beat the two of us. That's as good as you could expect here. But honestly, a couple people here did really well. New York Giants fan in the chat said I got 9th. That's pretty damn good. If you cashed in that, you did better than all of us. So good job. That was fun. Let's do it again next week. I always enjoy those.
Roth, we're done, baby. We're done. Yeah. Sorry, man.
Last one.
Yeah.
I guess playoffs, the games are all spread out, so you can't really do it.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. Historically, on weekdays, they play them all at night. When they're in the bubble, everything was different, so they just played them during the day and like staggered them. So I think during the weekend they'll stagger them all day, and that on the weeknights they'll do them all at night. But I'll still be doing content. I'll still write an article. Still do expert survey. We'll probably do some lineup builder shows. I don't know if I'll be on all of them, but we'll still be doing stuff. But not with Roth.
Well, you said that with such disdain and disgust. Not with Roth. Well, we're gonna miss you, man. It's always a highlight working with you, and hopefully we'll get to hang out here before we see each other again to talk hoops in like another 7 months or something. All right.
Absolutely. I'll be tuning into you guys all the time, so don't worry. Maybe Devin will let me show my face just to remind everyone what I look like. But if not, I'll just hang out in the chat.
All right, that'll work for me. It's probably better that way, for the ratings. For Meansy and for Cheese and for Devin, always working hard behind the scenes, but especially for Meansy, who has done so much all season long, just crushing it every single day. 5 days a week. Excellent work, Meansy. We appreciate you, man. Everybody at home, we appreciate you. We love you. We will catch you on Monday. You have been crunched.